Hello, hello, hello. Mm. Hi, guys. How are you guys tonight? Thanks for stopping in. It's good to see everyone. How was your Sunday? Was it a productive Sunday? Was it a lazy Sunday? Let me know. I just got done eating my dinner, so if I am doing this, it's because I'm trying to get food out of my teeth. Oh, man. Yeah, I listened to my audiobook all day today. I went to church this morning and came home, and I have been sitting and coloring in my new coloring book and listening to my audiobook all day. So it's been a fun, lazy day for sure. Hi, Bree. Hi, Krista. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Laura. Let me know, what are you guys reading? What are you currently reading? Let me know. Becca. Yay! Have we converted you? Did you love it? Was it the best thing ever? Oh my goodness. I love that you watch Gilmore Girls. It's like one of those things that once you start, you just can't stop. I love it. Aw, thanks, Liv. Yes, church in person. We're back to church in person with no building restrictions. We still have to wear masks, but whatever. I'll do it. As long as I can go and worship in person, we're good. I'm good with that. Ooh, new duvet and sheets. I like it. I like this. I am all about this right here. There's something about new sheets that's just like, I love it. I love it. Oh, The Four Winds. See, I have not read The Four Winds. I have only ever read one Kristen Hannah book, and it was The Nightingale, and it was fine. But I don't know, like The Four Winds is intimidating to me because it's so long. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Laura's reading Winter People. I've heard really good things about that. I've heard that one's really, really good. Ooh, Bree's reading This Tender Land. I loved the writing in This Tender Land. I will say that. I will say that. Yay, Krista's reading Book of Lost Names, finally. Nothing like wait until the last minute, huh, Krista? Oh, Tia. Ugh, I do not envy this. Showings at the house. Oh my goodness. How is the real estate market in California? Like here it's insanity. Like just absolute insanity. But I know not everywhere. Like some places are like it's mass chaos and other places it's really dead. So yeah, I remember trying to sell a house with multiple kids underfoot and it's just it is stressful for sure. Becca. Yeah, I might have stayed up till way too late in the morning watching Gilmore Girls on multiple occasions, so you're not the only one. Oh man, I love it. Thanks, Denise. Oop. See, we were just talking about this, Liv. I was just talking about this with the ladies that are going to be on later. Ruin and Rising. Who has watched Shadow and Bone already? I binged the entire thing on Friday because I have no self-control and no life, so I was able to do that. So, yeah, I love the Shadow and Bone series, and I know not everybody does, but oof, I want to reread all of them now because the series just got me in the mood for it. Ooh, Debbie, what are you taking master classes for a master's degree? What are you going to school for? Aw, thanks, Victoria. Oh, good. Thank you. Ooh, Denise just read Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Have you read Giver of Stars? See, those two came out really close to each other, and there was a lot of controversy because they're both about the Packhorse Library, but Bookwoman is about the Blue people of Kentucky, and Giver of Stars is not. And yeah, both were good. I preferred Giver of Stars, though. So you'll have to let me know if you've read that one, too. Ooh, Lisa's reading Keeper of the Lost Cities. That's one that a lot of people have read. I have not. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Danny. Win me some money, girlfriend. Oh my goodness. How much fun. Yeah. Oh, Victoria, you do need to watch Shadow and Bone. You need to watch Shadow and Bone. And Laura. Laura too. Laura and Danny. Yeah. Live binged it in 24 hours. Yeah, mine was like, it was pretty much like in 8 hours. It was back to back to back on Friday. It was good. Oh man. All right. Denise, it is more YA for sure. It's a lot of teen angst, all that, all the YA things, but I still really liked it. I don't know. Yeah, Brie, you'll have to try Bookwoman. I did personally, I didn't care for the writing in Bookwoman. The story was fine. I just didn't care for the writing that much. But I like the writing in Giver of Stars better. Um, oh, that's fun, Debbie. Better you than me. I'm not a teacher. We learned that this year with homeschooling. Teaching is not my forte, and my children will be returning to the professionals in the spring. But we tried. We gave it a run for our money. Oh man. Ooh, Invited. Another one reading Invited. I haven't even heard of this book. Is this a thriller? This sounds like a thriller. Is this a thriller? Denise. Oh my goodness. You crack me up. You're a trip. Aw, thank you, Lisette. Lake House by Kate Morton. I think that's the one. No, I tried reading The Forgotten Garden and I DNF'd that one. I do have the Lake House though, and I want to try to read that one. Yeah. Jessa, I am not planning on doing reading sprints. This is just going to be like a fun. I'm going to have some other girls joining me here in a little while, and so we're just going to have some fun. But not planning on doing reading sprints this time around. I've been reading all day long, so I'm ready to hang out with some friends and just kind of have fun. Ooh, okay. It's like a creepy historical suspense. Okay. Oh, yeah, because she wrote Winter People too. All right. I might have to try that. I don't know. I don't do creepy, like I'll do middle grade creepy books. That's about as creepy as I get though. I'm not big in the creepy. I'm a wimp. Just ask my husband. I don't. Nope. Oh, there's a Lake House movie. Is this based off of The Lake House by Kate Morton? Or is this a different movie? Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, Tiffany, me too. I'm a wimp. I don't like scary things. I don't like gory things. I'm just like, I like my rainbows and butterflies and sunshine, and other than that, I'm good. Yeah, no. No. Based off of the book. Huh. I did not know that. See, now that would get me to read a book if there's a movie adaptation. Oh, man. I do agree with this, Denise. The narrator was good for the audiobook. I don't know. I still just didn't care for the writing that much. Okay, okay, you don't like scary, but you loved Winter People. Okay, I might be able to do Winter People then. Maybe. We'll see. My goal was to read 5 thrillers this year. Anybody want to guess how many I've actually read? I've read this many. I need to start reading. I'm like, I'm gonna get into thrillers. Yeah, no. In all fairness, I had a few readathons going on at the beginning of the year, so we're finally getting into like a time where I have more of just anything I want. So at least that's good. Okay, see, now Krista's saying that the Lake House movie is totally different. Okay, so it's a different movie? All right, now I'm confused. I think the Lake House is the Sandra Bullock one. All right, all right. The Drowning Kind? Ooh, what's this? Okay. Interesting, interesting. All right. The Night Sister by... Okay, Wait, is The Night Sister, is that the one that Lindsay read? From Lindsay's Little Library, Krista? Is that the one that Lindsay read last year that she really thought was really, really creepy? Yeah, see, I know you like Broken Girls, but that's a ghost story. And I don't know. Like I read the Catherine Arden middle grade books, and that's about as intense as I can get for thrillers. Or not thrillers, but like the creepy paranormal, like that kind of stuff. I am not into creepy. Now thrillers where it's like more like that. Like I don't know. I can handle thrillers more than I can like ghost stories and spooky stuff. I don't do creepy. I don't know. Yeah, see, Bree, didn't you like didn't like No Exit at all, right? Are you the one that like didn't like it at all? I think you said the ending was like a no for you. So yeah, I enjoyed No Exit. I like that didn't bother me, but like like I said, like the paranormal, that kind of stuff, no. See, this is kind of how I am. I I don't mind it if there's a lot of action or a huge psychological like, whoa, what just happened? But like I read a couple thrillers was it last year, the year before, and I was like, I didn't care for either of them, like at all. They just were not impressive to me. They were not thrilling. I don't know. Okay. Do I like foodie literature? I just read my first food memoir this month with Bookmarks and Breadsticks, Kim, and it was very interesting. The book was not very good, but the food aspect of it was good. You can check out my wrap up coming up next week for that. But yeah, I would definitely be into reading more. I want to read The Kitchen Front. That's fiction. And things like that. I am not a big foodie person. Like I'm not somebody who I don't like cooking at all. I don't really. I'm not like going to go find the best restaurant to get the best meal and the best experience and like how all the flavors combine. And I'm just not that person. And so I don't know. I have Julie and Julia on my shelves, and so I kind of want to read that, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. House of Salt and Sorrows is the creepiest. Okay, see, I've seen this book around and I honestly have, excuse me, no idea what it's about. See, I knew it was you, Bree. You hated No Exit. I thought it was you. The dueling friends. Hated No Exit, loved it. See, I loved it. I thought it would, and people were like, it's gruesome. And even the like gory parts of it, I didn't really find that bad. So now if I would have been watching a movie, I would have been like, no. But reading it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Oh man. All right. You should read Good Night Beautiful by Amy Malloy. What is that about? I've never even heard of this book. I'm writing this down. Good Night Beautiful. Is that a thriller? Good Night Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna do it because Tia told me to. Okay, so House of Salt and Sorrows is a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses. That's right. I know a lot of people have talked about it. I just fantasy, like, I'm reading a fantasy right now, but fantasy, like, is very, very hit and miss for me. Like, very, very hit and miss. I can't do high fantasy. High fantasy is like way up here somewhere. Like, I don't understand any of it. And YA fantasy is like too tropey for me. Like, I feel like I'm just aging out of that. Like, it's just not jiving with me well. So I don't know. All right. Let's see what else. Yeah, I'm listening right now to Ray Bearer by Jordan Afuego, and it's very interesting. I'm really liking it. And for a debut novel, her writing is like really, really, really good. The Lost Apothecary. This one's getting a lot of buzz recently. Like, yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Danny, seriously. Girl, we are kindred spirits. I had never been to a casino. Okay, story time. I had never been to a casino before. And this was what, 4 or 5 years ago. My husband and I went on vacation and we were driving and we were going through St. Louis. And he is like, "You've never been to a casino. We're going to stay at the casino there." And it was on our way home from vacation. Well, the previous day, I decided to jump off a cliff into a river and smacked my rear end so hard on the water that I bruised it bad, like huge purple welts all down my rear end. So, and he woke up that morning and had a huge sty in his eye and was like not having it. So we're at the tail end of this vacation. We had been driving for 5 hours. He's like, "We're going to stay in this casino. It's going to be great." We get in there after driving and we're like, I'm just like, I don't even care. Like, I don't want to be here. And so we went down to the casino and we literally walked in, played 2 slot games and walked out. I'm like, it smells, it stinks. I'm not, this is dumb. Like, why would I risk my money? Like, this is stupid. I am not a gambler, apparently. And so that's been the only time I've ever been to a casino. I'm not that person. I guess. I don't know. Either that or I'm a massive party pooper, which is probably also partially true. Yeah. Okay, Goodnight Beautiful is a thriller, but it has fun twists. Ooh. All right. I will definitely check that out. Yeah, Ray Bearer has been really good. Live. I've been very impressed with the writing in it so far. It's very, very detailed. I'm only halfway in and it's very in-depth, very intricate. Okay, so Denise says a disappointing thriller is the read that makes me the angriest when the ending literally kerflops. Yeah, same. I'm left with this pent-up energy with no release. Oh man. Oh man. Ooh, Becca, have you read it yet? Maybe we'll have to read this together. If you haven't read it yet, let me know. We'll read it together. I'm always down for a buddy read. Okay, Jessa wants to know, what would you recommend for a beginner for thrillers and psychological thrillers? So everybody help her out because I am not the person to answer this question. I am not the person. I have read No Exit, which I enjoyed, The Silent Patient, which unpopular opinion was not my favorite book by a long shot. I know lots of people really, really loved it, and I was just like not impressed with the twist. And I read Fierce Kingdom, which was like boring. It was really bad. So, yeah. So everybody else give her lots and lots of good recommendations. Yeah, Brie. I've been in a casino 3 times. You always end up breaking even and leaving. Yeah. I don't know. The last couple of books you've read were graphic novels. I just got a bunch of graphic novels out from my library and I have not read any of them. I probably need to do that. Yeah. Pumpkinheads, and then Pashmina. I've read both of those, and I enjoyed both of those. I think I like Pumpkinheads a little bit more. But I feel like Pumpkinheads, really, you need to read it in October. Like, you really need to read Pumpkinheads in October. You can enjoy it any time of the year, but it's best in October. Oh, man. Danny, you crack me up. Quality time. Yeah, see, I said I didn't like Silent Patient. Silent Patient is a good beginner thriller, though, because it's not like super gory or anything like that. So, yeah. Ooh, okay, you did already read Goodnight Beautiful. All right, I'm going to have to read this then. Oh, Liv didn't care for the Silent Patient either. Interesting. See, that's how I felt. I felt like the end was like, wah, wah. And I'm like, wait, what? That's it? The end? Like, what? I'm with you on this, Liv. I know everybody else like loved this book and thought the ending was the best twist ever. And I'm like, if this is the best twist ever, I don't know if I want to read thrillers because, yeah, I don't know. The Last Time I Lied. All right. No Bad Deed by Heather Chavez. Really? Okay. I'm going to write this down, Denise. No Bad Deed. I trust your judgment. You read quite a bit, too. A good variety of things. And especially debut novels. I like that. I like debut novels that are really good. Alice Feeney. The OK Witch. See, I have read The OK Witch, and it was just okay for me. I liked Witches of Brooklyn a lot more than The OK Witch. Especially like for middle grade graphic novels, The Witches of Brooklyn, like, and Roller Girl are like my top two of all time, like ride or die for middle grade graphic novels. Like those two, I loved them. See, The Last Time I Lied. Sometimes I lie. There's a lot of lying going on in all of these thrillers. Before I Go to Sleep and Behind Closed Doors. Okay. Yeah, see? And Roller Girl. Okay. See, I feel justified now. Witches of Brooklyn and Roller Girl are good too. Oh, man. Oh, this makes me so happy. You just read Roller Girl. I need to reread it. Like, Roller Girl seriously has me wanting to take my kids to go see a roller derby competition. I don't know what you call them. Match. I don't know what they're called. There's a special name for them, and I don't know what it is. But, like, after I read that, I'm like, we should go watch one of these. Yeah. Yeah, Raina Telgemeier. I like all of hers. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. I like all of hers. I think Sisters is probably my favorite. Ghosts is really, really good. The only one I didn't like was Drama, but I think it's because I went into it thinking it was middle grade, and it's not. It's YA. And so the subject matter for me was like, not the best for middle grade. Now, for YA, it's fine, but I was not a fan of it for a middle grade audience. Yeah, All's Fair. I've read that one too. That one was good. And she has, I was like, she has another one. I'm an idiot. It's Roller Girl. But she also, Victoria Jameson also did When Stars Are Scattered with Omar Mohammed. Is that right? Oh, I don't know if I got that right. But and it's about a boy and his brother in like a refugee camp in Africa. It's really, really, really good too. I didn't like All's Fair I didn't like it as much as Roller Girl, but it was still good. It's much more into like the angstiness of middle school, which is a lot. I have a kid in middle school, and it's just a lot. Yeah. See, Krista says so. So we know that it's good. Krista has spoken. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, When Stars Are Scattered is amazing. It's really, really good. See, this makes me so happy. You had never read a graphic novel until I talked about them. I love graphic novels. The thing I like about graphic novels is, for me as a mom reading, my kids love graphic novels. I feel like kids that age range right now, like that 7 to 12 age range, are obsessed with graphic novels. I have a daughter who used to only read graphic novels because she had an issue with her vision and she couldn't focus on like line to line reading. And so she would read graphic novels because it was just like a few words here and a few words there, and she didn't have to focus on the lines. And we didn't know that at the time. And so I would get after her and be like, you can't read graphic novels. You can't only read graphic novels. And then, but now that I've been like more educated on the importance or the validity of graphic novels, I listened to an author panel that had, oh my goodness, who wrote Jerry Craft. I listened to an author panel from North Texas Teen Book Festival that had Jerry Craft on it, and he talked about the importance of reading comics and how valid it was for him and how it grew his vocabulary as a young child and all of that. And it totally made it worth it for me. I love graphic novels now. And a fun fact for all my historical fiction lovers out there, I just found out this week that Ruta Sepetys, Between Shades of Grey, is being adapted into a graphic novel. So that should be coming out in October, I want to say, maybe. So I'm very excited for that because that's like one of my favorites. Yes. All right. Ooh, yes. The Anne of Green Gables graphic novel. I read that right after I read Anne of Green Gables last year, and it's really, really well done. It's a good one. I have read Catherine's War. It is very good. I believe that Catherine's War is translated from the French. So if you ever have a challenge that you need to translate a book, that is translated from the French, and it's very good. It's very similar to Whitebird by R.J. Palacio in kind of the concept, but it's done really, really well. I really liked it. Alrighty. Jessa, are you looking for a contemporary graphic novel or manga? Liv's in here. She does manga. I am not a huge manga person. I've only read 2 ever, and they're okay for me. I'm not a huge manga lover. Contemporary graphic novels. I could load you up with middle grade ones. But beyond that, I'm trying to think what other ones. Blankets was good. The Sculptor is an adult one that was really good. That's great, but that one's not like light and fluffy. That one is more kind of heavy. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good one. The Anne one's just good. Yeah, you know what? And the graphic novels have really gained a lot of traction. I would say in the last like 5 years, like graphic novels are just like this growing massive thing. All these books are being adapted into graphic novels now. Percy Jackson is adapted into graphic novels. Wings of Fire is adapted into graphic novels. And some of those graphic novels, like my kids picked up the Wings of Fire graphic novel series and then went back and started reading the books because they're not adapting them as fast as, like, there's 14, 15 books in the Wings of Fire series. There's only 4 or 5 graphic novels out right now. And so once they've consumed all the graphic novels, then they'll switch over and they'll start reading the books. And so like Animorphs is being adapted. Babysitter's Club is being adapted. The Babysitter's Club graphic novels are so good. And I love it because they have different illustrators doing them. It's not the same illustrator all the way through, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, it's just, they're so, I don't know. It's just, it's great for the kids because it's fun for them too. And for them, it's not really reading. So I just let them do it. See, you're missing a whole lot, Denise. That's what you're missing. A whole lot. There's just something about the art in some of the graphic novels. There's something about the art that's super impactful. One that I read recently that the art was really, really good is Grass. It is, I don't know if it's I think it's by a Korean author. I don't remember the author's name, but it is about the Korean women that the Japanese took and basically made them into sex slaves during World War II. and it was very dark, but the art in it was so well done. I really, really love the art. All right. Oh, see, I don't remember this. I've heard that the Anne graphic novel is annoying because some of the words are covered and unreadable. That is possible. If they're not readable, then they're probably not meant to be read. That's the way I kind of look at it. Which hat, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to say this word. Atelier is a great manga. I'm sure Liv did recommend that. The few recommendations that I've gotten for manga have come from Liv. So Orange is a good manga. That one has gotten a lot of traction. Yeah, Magic Treehouse is being adapted into graphic novels too. So, all right. It is time for us to welcome our first special guest. So, as part of this like celebration thing that we're doing, so I recently hit 3,000 subscribers, and this upcoming week is my Booktube anniversary. And so I wanted to kind of spread the love out. And so I invited some of my favorite booktubers that have less than 1,000 subscribers to join me. So they're going to be joining me one at a time. And so our first guest is none other than Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia. Everybody welcome Tiffany to the show.
Hello.
So this is Tiffany. She is new to the Booktube community. And yeah, introduce yourself, Tiffany.
I'm Tiffany, obviously. I joined Booktube, I think at the end of January. I think one of my first videos was a January wrap-up video. So I have been watching and lurking on Booktube for like a year. And then I'm friends with Chantal at An Intentional Life. We're like pen pals and stuff. I kept saying, I kind of want to join Booktube, but I don't know. And she was like, you should just do it. So yeah, so I joined, and I have not been here for very long. I am a homeschool mom to one, and we live in Illinois right now, but are getting ready to move to Kentucky next month. So that's kind of crazy. My husband's a pastor and just accepted a position there. So I'm navigating a move and Booktube at the same time.
I feel that. How far from where you're at now are you moving to?
I think it's about 400 miles.
Okay.
So not super close, not super far.
Yeah. Where in Illinois abouts are you? Like in the state?
I am like the western half of the state. So I'm actually not far from St. Louis, even though I'm in.
Oh, okay. Fun. And Kentucky, are you headed to?
It's like
late. You don't have to tell us exactly.
Even if I told you the town,
give us your address.
You can just all come visit. No,
I would do that. Don't tempt me.
It's like the Lake Cumberland area. So if you have been in Kentucky, that's kind of like a big vacation spot there. But we're pretty close to that area. So it's a pretty area.
Yeah, when we moved to Minnesota, we moved from like an hour outside of Kentucky. We were in Indiana, but we were really close to the Kentucky border.
Oh, okay. My sisters live really close to Louisville, but they're in Indiana. So
So we lived about an hour outside of Louisville.
So you're probably really close to where my sisters are then.
Yep. So yay, fun. It's from Illinois. Fun. Okay. So Tiffany, actually, I gotta find where I put this. But Tiffany submitted a question for my Q&A, I believe. If I did this right. Did I do it? No, she didn't. It wasn't Tiffany. It was Shanice from Sodbuster Living, but it was about homeschooling. So I wanted to answer this question with Tiffany. So on Instagram, I had put up a thing for like a Q&A. And so I took all those questions that I got, and I'm going to answer them with my special guests tonight. Haha, surprise.
Yay.
So the question that I got, though, was from Shanice at Sodbuster Living, and she said, how does homeschooling play a part of your reading life? And I thought I would answer this with Tiffany because she is also a homeschool mama, and she has been doing it for much longer than I have. For COVID homeschoolers.
Yeah, ever since my daughter was in kindergarten.
Yeah, so we only decided to homeschool just because everything was so chaotic at the beginning of the year. So why don't you go ahead and answer this first, and then I'll kind of chime in too.
Okay. So I guess I read a lot of books out loud to my daughter for school. So there are a lot of books that I have been exposed to that I didn't read as a kid. So that's kind of been a fun aspect. And then I do some pre-reading for her too. So for school books specifically, I can't keep up with her otherwise because she's like a voracious reader. She reads faster than I do. But so for those things I read that way, but other than that, I don't know. Maybe I have more time because I'm home and my daughter will go off and read and I'll go off and read. But there are a lot of books that we read together, which is really fun.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, we have gotten into a really good habit since we started homeschooling of doing read aloud time. We've like done it off and on here and there throughout the years, but we've never really established a really solid routine. And now it's like at this time every night before bed, everybody's in the living room and we're reading aloud. And my husband will put the 3-year-old to bed because he becomes more of a distraction to everybody else, and it's not helpful. But we have just been like getting through the books, and it's been really good. And then we read for about 45 minutes, and then the kids go to bed. And so it's been really nice to have that like solid time. And I've let the kids pick books, and I've picked books, and it's been really good.
Have you read The Enchanted Hour? I think it's by Megan Cox Gurdon.
Mm-mm.
It's about like reading aloud to your children and the effects it has not just on them mentally, but on like their emotional health and stuff. So not just like people like to say like, oh, you read to really little kids and it really helps with their like intelligence and stuff, and it does. And she gives scientific evidence for that, but then she talks about the emotional health and like all the other things too. It's an excellent book.
I should check that out.
It's
Yeah,
so
I've
good.
read who's the girl that does Read Aloud Revival?
Sarah McKenzie.
Yeah, I've done her. I've listened to her book about like reading aloud.
That's a good one too. It's a lot shorter than Megan's.
Yeah, it's very short. And I think that's where I first kind of got into the like mindset of I need to read aloud to my kids. Do you have a favorite book that you've read out loud with your daughter?
Oh my goodness. I don't know because we have so
So
many.
many. Are there any that you and her have both loved like together? Because I feel like there's books that I love and then there's books my kids love, but for us both to like both of us love it.
Those are the special books because there's
Those
some
are the
middle
special
grade
ones.
that are really like for kids, and adults are like, this is annoying or this is
dumb.
weird. And then there's some that I feel like are written for adults, even though they're middle grades. But I think that the most recent one we read is we read The Secret Garden together. And that was my favorite when I was a kid, like when I was 8 and she's 8. It was my favorite book, and I read it over and over again. And I just read it to her for the first time. And that was so special because it was my favorite, and now it's one of her favorites too. So
That's awesome. I wish my kids had the like patience to sit through a classic. Kids are quite there yet.
start small.
Like, yeah, we did Betsy Tacy. We did the first Betsy Tacy book.
I struggled with that one. I don't know why.
We live really close to where Maud Hart Lovelace lived.
Oh, okay.
Town that Betsy Tacy is based off of. Like, we could go visit Betsy's house and Tacy's house, and like, it's like an hour from us. And so my thought process is like, I'd love to read a few of them to them and then take them there like for a field trip.
Yeah.
But they probably aren't even open. But they were kind of like, nah, this is fine. Like I just listened to The Secret Garden for the first time ever during middle grade March. And it was amazing.
It's so beautiful.
So much. I loved it so much.
It's a perfect time of year during middle grade March too.
Yeah. We are right now. What are you reading aloud right now?
Right now, as a family, we started the first Wingfeather Saga book.
How are you liking it?
It's so funny.
How far in are you?
We are not that far in. Like we're maybe a third of the way in, and it's been kind of sporadic with all the moving and other stuff we have going on, so we haven't read it as much as I would like to.
That was our first read aloud this homeschool year.
Was it? Did you guys like it?
It was not my favorite book to read because of all the footnotes and because of all the like weird words in it.
Oh, yeah, some of them are hard.
It's just like, why is there a made-up word for carrots? Just call it a carrot and be done with it. You know, like some of these things. And then I also felt like there was this definitive moment in the book where it's like, it's hilarious, it's funny, it's quirky, and then it's like very gruesome and like,
oh, we haven't got there yet.
It's intense. And I'm like, this is like, what? So I told the kids, I was like, if you want to keep reading the series, that's fine. I will order you the books and you can read them yourselves. So.
I've heard that the audiobooks, Andrew Peterson reads them himself, and then it's awesome.
He does. On Facebook, he has them. And I was like, that I would maybe do. But with all the footnotes totally threw me off too.
I don't think he reads the footnotes, so it doesn't interrupt the flow of the story. So.
I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, enough with, but then I would like pause and I would read the footnotes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I was still learning. But you guys love it. So many people love that book so much. So, I mean, it's a good one to pick for sure.
Yeah. And then, another book we're reading right now is The Nerviest Girl in the World by Melissa Wiley. I don't know if you've read that one. That one's a newer one. So
I haven't read that. I've heard Emily at Homeschooling talk about that one.
Yeah, she wrote The Prairie Thief too, which is an older one that a lot of people have read.
I have The Prairie Thief.
Yeah.
Sarah McKenzie recommended it.
Yeah. So we've been reading The Nerviest Girl in the World, which just came out last September, but it's part of one of our homeschooling curriculums where we read the books and then we teach the grammar based off of the fun books that we're reading.
Oh, that's fun.
That's what we're reading for that to finish out our school year, and she is loving it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, my kids were really into Wings of Fire, and so I looked up on Teachers Pay Teachers. I just got a Wings of Fire curriculum for them so they could read Wings of Fire and then have schoolwork to go with it and called it a day. I was like,
that's the beauty of homeschooling. We do that kind of stuff all the time.
Like, just fill out this worksheet every day when you get done reading. Like,
yep.
Character map.
Perfect.
Call it good. Luckily, in Minnesota, we have very, very, very few like criteria for homeschooling. So,
yeah, Illinois is the same.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Oh, how fun! All right. So, what types of books do you enjoy reading?
I think that a big bulk of what I read is classics and middle grade. But I do read other stuff too, but like those are probably my favorite genres. And I've discovered recently that I love fairy tale retellings. So that's really high up there too. And then it's just—
Have you read the Lunar Chronicles? Because that is the best fairy tale retelling of, and if you do not agree with me, we cannot be friends.
Oh no. I read Cinder and I loved parts of it, but I didn't love all of the sci-fi elements. I loved the Cinderella elements, but a lot of people told me that I should keep going and that it gets better. So I am going to read the rest of the series at some point, because I was okay. Like, I didn't hate it, but I was just like, the ending of it was really good. But like, I had a lot of trouble getting into it. And I think it was the sci-fi elements, because that's not my favorite.
Yeah, see, I love the sci-fi. That was a book that like eluded me for forever. I would pass it in the library and I would see the spine and I'd pull it out and I'd see the front of it and it's like this cyborg foot and I'm like, no. And I put it back. And I did this for so long. And then one day I got the audiobook from my library and I listened to it. And that is the audiobook that started me on my audiobook journey. And now look where we're at today. But yeah, it's because it's narrated by no, it's not Jamie. It's oh my goodness, Rebecca Solver. I got there. Rebecca. She narrates all the books and she is so good. She's such a good narrator. But yeah, they got me hooked, and I'm obsessed with those books. I'm actually planning on rereading them this year, all four of them.
Maybe
And
I'll listen to the audiobook because I need audiobooks to listen to while I'm packing boxes.
they're really, you know what? That's actually when we moved. So we moved from northern Indiana to southern Indiana before we moved to Minnesota. And that's when we moved, that's the ones I was listening to. Like
That's
we were
probably what I would
driving,
do.
we were doing all the driving. That's the books that got me through it. And I loved those books. I loved listening to them so much. And when they were over, I had like serious like book hangover. Like my best friends are leaving me.
That's how I felt after I finished Mistborn, that trilogy. I was like, oh,
I need my people back.
yep.
Yeah, everybody else is saying that Lunar Chronicles on audio. It's the way to go. It's for sure the way to go.
And a lot of people are saying Cress is their favorite, and I didn't get that far, so I need to give it more of a chance. Clearly,
and they get long. They get very, very long. But I feel like on audio, it's not as like intimidating to me to read a long book because you just listen to it whenever and you get to it. And it's not like this big book that's like sitting there staring you in the face. You know?
I like big books, so that doesn't bother me. Have you seen those shirts that say like I love big books and I cannot lie? Because I need one of those.
See, I'm the opposite. If like that's why I haven't read The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I'm like, do I really want to commit that much time to a book? Like,
I've heard mixed things about that one, so that's why I haven't gone for that one yet.
Yeah,
because I liked The Nightingale and The Great Alone. But
I would rather read The Great Alone first. I have The Great Alone, and it's big. It's a big one too, but I've heard really good things about it.
It's hard to read because it has like a lot of domestic violence in it, but it's really good. It's like post-Vietnam War, so it's really good.
Well, you know me and my Vietnam War.
Yes.
Those are my people.
I actually have, I just filmed a video today for like TBR type stuff for May, and I have Everything Else in the Universe and The Wednesday Wars right now. And I never read books, and I have 2 right now, and one of them you recommended. So
there you go. See? Yeah, I read Wednesday Wars during middle grade March, not this past year, but the year before. And I think I just like rushed through it and I didn't quite get the full experience because I've heard it's amazing and it was just okay for me. Like I prefer Everything Else in the Universe and Mr. Marsworth over Wednesday Wars.
Yeah.
But I know that's not everybody's opinion. Liv, you didn't like the Lunar Chronicles? It's not acceptable.
No, well, I guess if I end up not liking the rest of them, Liv and I can still be friends.
All right. I'm joking. Everybody likes their own thing. I have plenty of unpopular book opinions to go around, so it's fine. But Lunar Chronicles it's so good. So what are you currently reading?
Right now I am reading All Things Wise and Wonderful by James Herriot. And I just love James Herriot. I needed that right now. I needed that like wholesome goodness. But I just finished Book of 1,000 Days by Shannon Hale, which is a retelling of Maid Maleen, I think, which is like a really obscure fairy tale. Yeah. And then I also, right before that, I finished Long May She Reign, which I don't remember who that's by, but it's like a YA.
That was the standalone fantasy, right?
Yeah. So
I'm writing it down.
It was interesting.
Long May She Reign?
Yes, Long May She Reign. And it's like the protagonist is this girl who is a scientist and experiences a lot of social anxiety, and she's supposed to be like 23rd in line for the throne. And she ditches this banquet at the very beginning of the book, and people there get poisoned, and all of a sudden she's queen. And she was never supposed to be queen. So she's navigating that, being like this brilliant scientist who doesn't really like people that much. And I was like, that is very different from normal YA.
So it's like what is it? Dedicated Survivor or whatever it was. One with the TV show where the Capitol gets attacked, and he's like the
I don't think I've seen that.
Of urban development or something like that, and he becomes president because he's the guy left standing.
Same kind of idea.
Survivor, I think, is the name of the show.
Oh, okay.
But it reminds me of that. Sorry, that's where my brain went when you were like, she's 23rd in line to the throne, but then she becomes queen.
Yeah. I liked it though. It was interesting.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. I'm always down for like a good obscure book that not many people have heard about.
I like obscure books because I feel like other books can be really, really hyped. And then I go in with these big expectations and I'm like, at the end.
Exactly. And that's like everything else in the universe for me was a total cover buy on Book Outlet. Had no idea what it was going into it and read it. And I was like, why is nobody talking about this book? This book is amazing. Like,
But now it's been hyped from you, so hopefully it's not too
now I feel like everybody's like, I need to read this because you said I need to read this. And I'm like, well, just read it and don't go into it with any expectation because if you don't love it, I'm gonna feel really bad. But there's our current Read-aloud right now is another one that I cover bought off of Book Outlet. Never heard anything about it before in my life. And it is amazing. It's called The Wolf Keepers.
I haven't heard of that.
It's by Elise Broach, and it is about this girl whose dad is like the head zookeeper at this zoo in California, and they have these wolves there, and she ends up running into this kid who's a runaway from a foster family who's like staying at the zoo, and they become friends, and then the wolves start dying, and so these two kids are trying to figure out what's happening with these wolves, and but then there's also like conversation about John Muir, who is this like and it takes place close to Yosemite, and so it has to do with John Muir and his lost cabin that was in Yosemite, but nobody can find it now. And
what'd you say it was called?
It's called The Wolf Keepers.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
It's really good for like homeschool because there's a lot of like morally gray things to discuss that are like on the right level for kids, that they can have this conversation about like, is it okay to do bad things for good reasons?
I love deep conversations. So
yeah. And then it gets into like with John Muir and like he, Walden and Thoreau visited him and Teddy Roosevelt, and like who were these people and why were they important? And like one of her like grandma's cousins was the first female park ranger in the US, and who's based off of a real person. And so it has conversation about that in it. And it's
That's
so
really cool.
So many good conversations coming out of that book. And I've never heard of it before. And it was like, I don't know if this is going to be a hit or a miss, but we're going to go with it. So it ended up being amazing.
I love when that happens.
Yeah, it's so good. And my kids are like, my oldest daughter is like, I don't know how I like this. And then my middle one, who's obsessed with wolves, she's like, this is amazing.
I have an animal lover, so she would probably love it.
It's fun because at the beginning, because her dad's the zookeeper, she knows a lot about the animals and like the ins and outs of zoos and that's another conversation is like, why are animals in zoos? Why do we have animals like wolves who are meant to be out in the wild? Why do we have these animals in zoos? And so that conversation is part of it. But then you're also like getting some of this knowledge, like why you shouldn't feed the animals at the zoos and how it can make, like if a giraffe eats meat, they could end up really, really sick or die from it because they eat it, their stomach can't process it because they're a carnivore, and their necks are so long they can't vomit. And so it's like, so you're learning like all these weird little things about animals. It's really good. Really, really good. But
sounds awesome.
All right, we are going to move on to our next guest, but thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Yeah, Tiffany. It was fun. Thanks for having me.
I am so glad that you were able to come and join us, and everybody needs to make sure that you go check out Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia and subscribe to her channel. And yeah, yay!
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yes, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So like I said, I hope that you guys go check out Tiffany and give her channel a try. She is really, really great as far as she reads a lot of Christian fiction too. So if that's something that is interesting to you, definitely go check her out. Yeah, I am so glad that Chantel made her start her YouTube channel, because I'm thoroughly enjoying watching her. So, all right, how's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are getting some good book recommendations throughout the night and all of that. So, yeah. All right, I'm gonna get a drink. And then we are going to get ready to welcome our next guest. I feel like I'm on a talk show. I'm a talk show host here. Ha ha ha. But the next lady that I'm going to have join me is Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly. And her and I have done many buddy reads before. And so, yeah, she is another YouTube mama. She is homeschooling as well. So everybody welcome Kelly to the show.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm enjoying watching and seeing everybody else talk and chat. Yeah, it's a relaxing evening.
I know, right? It's like a good excuse to not have to deal with bedtime.
Yeah. I did put my youngest one to bed before you started, but then I'm like, lock the door if there's any problems.
Don't bother me unless somebody's in the hospital, and even then, like, use your discretion.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your channel?
All right. So I'm Kelly from Cozy Reader Kelly. I started, actually 3 years ago. So my anniversary is next month. So 3 years on Booktube. I was only watching Booktube, I think, for like 3 or 4 months before I was like, I can do this. I can talk about books. And
I love that you started so quick too.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is fun. Because when you start, you're so small that like if you mess up, you can always delete those videos later as you get bigger. I haven't. So if you want to see my embarrassing first videos, they're still on there. But I've loved it. I've loved all the buddy reads and group things and read-alongs and everything that's been going on. And I started doing Bookstagram this last year. So I'm still new to that. Like I'm only like a few months, like probably 6 months into doing Bookstagram. And you said everything though. I'm a mom to 2 girls. I'm homeschooling, but I'm like you, I'm a COVID homeschooler. So they're probably going to go back to school next year as long as things get better.
Everybody always asks, how's that going? And I'm like, oh no, they're going back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
it's not a lasting thing here.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it because like mine is kindergarten. So I don't have to do anything too hard. Like we play outside and look at bugs and talk about them.
And I feel like if it's kindergarten, you're used to having them home. I think my biggest adjustment is I was used to them being gone for most of the day.
Yeah.
Now it's like, not that I don't love my children. I love my children. That's not what I'm saying. However, I am not a teacher. And I think teaching kindergarten and teaching 5th grade is a little different.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, I think I could do 1 more year. Like I could do 1st grade, but then I'd be like, okay, we're getting into harder concepts and like you can go to school and all that stuff. Like like I don't know. I mean, obviously you would grow with your kids if you did do it. Like, plenty of people homeschool. I just don't know. Like me and my daughter are very similar. We both have like hothead tempers, and we have found that me being the teacher, because how kids, are different with their parents than they are with a teacher. And so like I found that we butt heads quite often. We have found that. So I'll be happy for her to go to school next year.
I have a 1st grader too, and my 1st grader is actually back in school. So she came to me in February and was like, Mom, I think I'm ready to go back to school. And I was like on the phone with the school that day, and she was back in school 2 days later. It doesn't take much for me at this point. My biggest issue with her is teaching her how to read.
Yeah, I mean, my daughter's
trying to teach that kid how to read. I could not figure it out.
Well, and like I guess teachers go to school for all the techniques and all that stuff, and like I'm having a hard time with her too because she's like when she hits a word she doesn't like know, she gets frustrated, and I try to like get her to go back to the basics, go back to phonics, and she still gets so angry. So I think that like not being mom might help. I don't know. It might just be her personality that she needs to push past that frustration of like that it's okay to make mistakes. You're learning.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like the minute she got back in school and she could have that, like she has like a one-on-one time with a reading professional.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as she started with that, her reading like went way up. And
That's
I'm
great.
like, I just needed somebody besides me to like and be able to do this with you. And I mean, she's fine. It's just like it was a struggle.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what are you currently reading?
Well, my parents were here this week. So currently reading is pretty broad because I think the whole week they were here, I've made it about like 50 pages in one book and then like 40 pages in another. So not in-depth reading, but I am reading very slowly, just a little, like half a chapter a day of The Picture of Dorian Gray and trying to get through that in a few weeks. And then I'm also reading a middle grade called Show Me a Sign. I don't know if you read that one. I saw people.
I haven't read it, but I know of it. My mom's read
it. Yeah. So I'm still like, I think I have it here. So I think I'm still like, and that's a week of reading this middle grade.
I feel like that's how I am with reading sometimes, especially physically reading. Like it takes me so long to sit down and read a book.
Yeah. Well, and with family visiting, I was like, I'm not going to spend the hours I normally would reading. We're hanging out. So just not much reading this week, but those are what I'm working on. Picture of Dorian Gray is not going great. I don't know if you guys have read that. Everybody seems to love it.
Classics.
Yeah. Everybody seems to love it in the like, Goodreads and everything. And I'm like, I am having such a hard time. I don't know.
No, I get it. I have found like my niche is middle grade classics. I can do middle. Like I read Pinocchio and The Secret Garden this year and loved them both. But like a full-on adult classic is like, nope. It's like up here somewhere.
Yeah, and some I think have just a easier writing style. So it just depends.
Well, even last year I read Pride and Prejudice for the first time. And I know. And I made it halfway through before I was finally like, I am missing some key things here. I need to go look up some chapters somewhere. Like I was not following it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I need to get back into it. It looks like Tia gave it 3 stars. So I'm not the only one because it just seemed like everybody was loving Dorian Gray. And I was like, what am I missing? Am I like reading this wrong? I don't know.
Tiffany, you are not the only one who has not read Dorian Gray. If you ever need to feel good about the classics that you haven't read, come talk to me. And I will make you feel good about it because I have not read any of them. Like, case in point, I have read Pride and Prejudice. Although back in the day, I did read half of Vanity Fair.
Oh, I've not read that.
Things like this big. I read half of it before I gave up. So, I mean, I count that. Mm-hmm. It's probably like college, but yeah. But
I'm trying to catch up on all of my middle grade books that I got out of the library for middle grade March and now are going to be due in like a month. So I feel like April has extended that.
Same.
I think I still have like 7 of them out from the library and I'm like, I don't want to return them. I want to read them. So
I want to read these, but I don't have time to read these. Like, I know. Kelly and I just Buddy read The Length of a String together this month, and that was really good. I'm glad that she made me read that as soon as she did, because I probably would have put it off for a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we got that read. But we've read a few things together.
Yeah. Do we read Jurassic Park or just the sequel?
The second one.
The second one. Okay.
One together. That one was not very good.
No. Now I want to go back and read Jurassic Park. Yeah.
Everybody should go read Jurassic Park. It is so good. The sequel is like not.
Yeah, just skip the sequel.
No. All right, I'm going to throw up another question that I got. I got this question on Instagram from Books by the Quote, and it is, where do you get your best book recommendations from?
Well, truthfully, probably just Booktube. Like now, because I watch so many different people, I've got plenty just from watching everybody's videos.
Right.
And like people get excited about books, and so then I have to like add them to my TBR. So if I went looking for anywhere else, I probably would be overwhelmed. So I've just pretty much stick to like people, and I haven't narrowed down. There are people that I watch, but that I know we're not like compatible book wise.
Yeah.
So I just am like, okay, I enjoy your personality. I'll watch, but I won't take your recommendations. And then there are other people I'm like, okay, we have similar tastes. If you like this, it's a good chance I'll like it. And so I kind of have it now after, 3.5 years of watching Booktube. I have kind of like figured out some of the people that I know I can get good recommendations from.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I just want to pop this up here really quick as a plug to Danny.
Oh.
Danny's doing a Jurassic Park read-along in September, which I may seriously join in on that and reread it.
Yeah, me too.
It was so good. I love Michael Crichton.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to Booktube, I had only ever reread one book in my entire life, and it was Timeline by Michael Crichton. So Timeline, if you love historical fiction, you should go read Timeline. It's so good.
I have to reread that one because I haven't read it for a long time, and I had read it right after watching the movie, and I think it'd be better now that I haven't watched the movie in a long time since they're different.
Yeah. The movie's fine, and I think I read it because I saw the movie maybe. But yeah, Timeline's another really good Michael Crichton one. And I feel like I want to read more Michael Crichton because I really like his writing, but Lost World was not good.
Here's other ones that are good. I liked Prey, so you should check that one out. I'm trying to think because I used to listen to them all like back when I used to work at a job where I could just sit and listen to books. I would always get Michael Crichton books because I think they're really good as audiobooks.
See, and I've never listened to one of them on audio. Wait, did I? I think when we read The Lost World, I did listen to the audio of that. Mm-hmm. Jurassic Park and Timeline, I've read.
Oh yeah, I've actually never physically read one of his books. I've listened to them, and I've read a lot of them. I think I've read 5 or 6 of his books, and all of them on audio. So I would recommend. They're fun.
They're fun little sci-fi books. So yeah. All right, let me grab another question. Ooh, here. What was your favorite childhood favorite book?
Well, it's hard. I don't think I have one.
Really excited to share with your kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've already shared. I loved the Berenstain Bear books, and so I shared those with my kids. And then I really loved Roald Dahl, and so I've been rereading those all to figure out which ones work now because some of them have aged well. No, so there are some that I did share the BFG. We did it like on audiobook, and then I will like probably introduce them to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and James the Giant Peach. But like there are some that I'm like, okay, we're taking that one off the shelf and not sharing it.
Yeah, I love Matilda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matilda too.
That's like my childhood favorite is probably Matilda. Like I have this very distinct memory of my 5th grade teacher reading it out loud to us in school, and I just book has a very, very special place in my heart. It's one of my favorite middle grade books. And I feel like it's aged fine. The central message of it is so good, and the audio version that Kate Winslet narrates is chef's kiss. It's so good.
Yeah, I love that. That's when I've been doing my reread over the last couple of years, I've been doing the audiobooks, and yeah, all of them are really high quality audiobooks because they have been picking like famous actors, like Kate Winslet, Hugh Laurie did one, and like all these people that you recognize their voices and they do a great job. So I've been liking them on audio, definitely. Oh, I saw somebody put Amelia Bedelia. My husband, I kept my Amelia Bedelia books, and he hates reading those. He's like, you have to repeat her name so many times.
See, I found Amelia Bedelia. My daughter's name is Amelia, and so I call her Amelia Bedelia. But okay, funny, like, side story really quick. When we told our families that we had named her Amelia, my family goes, oh, like Amelia Bedelia? And my husband goes, oh, like Amelia Earhart? And so you can see how that, like, it personifies my husband, my families exactly, where, like, they immediately lean towards, oh, Amelia Earhart, like, very serious. And my family's like, oh, like Amelia Bedelia, like goofy, you know? But my kids don't get, like, they're finally now, the older girls are to the age where they would understand it. But I feel like the age that Amelia Bedelia is written for, like, the kids don't get the puns. It's funny to them. I'm like, it's supposed to be funny laugh, you know?
Yeah. I think we've read several of them because I kept, like, I think 5 of them from my childhood, and my daughter requests them, and my husband will hide them in the bookshelf so that he doesn't have to read them. But she obviously likes them, and she's 6, so I don't know if she's getting it or she just thinks it's funny that Amelia Bedelia does weird things.
Yeah. Well, and now they have new books coming out, like chapter books of her as a kid that are more modern stuff. And so I've tried getting my kids into those, and they just didn't bite.
Yeah.
So, you know, reading and writing life, she said that her grandmother's name was Amelia, and she wanted to name her daughter that. My Amelia actually wanted to name Adelia because that was my great-grandmother's name, was Ada Adelia. And I wanted to name her Adelia, and my husband was a hard no on that. And so this was our compromise.
Yeah.
I think it's a sad thing that when you're in high school and you're dreaming up your baby's names, nobody ever tells you that your husband gets a vote.
Yeah. I
had that name picked out my entire life, and then he vetoed it, and I'm so mad.
It is a pretty name. I think
okay.
I don't think we actually had any ones that we were set on that we vetoed for each other. So we got lucky. But we did change the day before. Like, we had 2 names picked out and had it all set. And then, like, the day that we found out that we were going to go pick up our daughter, so we were picking her up the next day. And when you pick them up, like, my kids are adopted, so in case that makes no sense, but
caveat.
Yeah, so, like, when we were going to go pick her up, they make you write down what her new name is. You know, and so you have to make that decision right there, unless you want to go through all the legal changing channels. And so I'm like, we have to make a decision tonight. And we were both like, we don't like these names anymore. And we just, like, in an instant, like, picked a new name the day before. So it worked out.
With Amelia, we were in the hospital, and we had 3 names. And I told my husband, I was like, pick one, I don't care. Like, it had been, I'm like, I'm fine with any of them. Pick one. But
you're like, yeah, I've done my part now. Just you pick.
Well, because we would get into it, and I would start coming up with names, and then he would just veto everything, put up with any suggestions. And so with our third girl, I had a name that I loved, and he said no because his parents had a cat named that when he was a kid. And I'm like, I don't care about your parents' cat.
That was like 20 some years ago.
Yes. I'm like, if people would stop naming their pets human names, we would not have this issue.
Yeah, my best friend actually came to me because we had a cat named Audrey. And she came to me and she's like, we want to name our child Audrey. I'm like, I don't care. It's a cat. It's going to, you know, not be alive that much longer compared to your child. Like, just name your kid whatever you want.
Yeah. And so with our fourth, it's a boy. But I told him, I was like, if he would have been a girl, I was going to name him that name. I didn't care. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I have a name picked out, and unless you come up with something better, I'm naming him this. But it was a boy, so it ended up working out.
Yeah. So did you say your favorite one was Matilda? That was your favorite childhood book?
Yeah, I think so. That's like that, and I read Boxcar Children a ton, and Babysitter's Club, and Babysitter's Little Sister. Those were like my go-tos. I mean, the 80s was not great for books. Let's just be clear. We all learned that during middle grade March this past year.
Yeah.
The 80s was just not great.
I actually did not like I read the Babysitter Club's books, but then when I got to like, I would say maybe 5th or 6th grade, somewhere around, or maybe 6th grade, I just started pulling my parents' books off the shelves because there wasn't like a lot of choices, you know, other than Babysitter's Club, Sweet Valley High. Like there was just like certain ones. And so I read Jurassic Park for the first time when I was in 6th grade.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I loved it. And I mean, now that I'm reading it as an adult, I'm like, how did I read this?
How did I comprehend any of this?
And they're like, you know, it's kind of gruesome in some places, like, but I was into it.
This person says Goosebumps.
Yeah, Goosebumps.
Goosebumps?
I didn't read Goosebumps. I was actually earlier than Goosebumps. I read the what is that? Fear Street? Yeah.
I was not allowed to read Goosebumps.
Ooh, because it's too scary.
Kibosh on it. Oh, yeah, they said no.
Yeah, my parents never told me no with books. I think they just let me read whatever.
They were, and there was like a sports series too that was really popular. Christopher or something or another.
I would not have read a sports series when I was a kid.
The boys read that. The girls read.
I also read, my parents had all the books that were out so far in the like Sue Grafton series, you know, like the A is for Alibi. I was reading those in 5th grade. Like I think I made it to H, and then I was like, okay, let's move on to some books meant for my age, I guess.
I know, like that's the thing, and I struggle with that with my daughters. I'm like, okay, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate? Like, and I feel like now there's more resources out there that like tell you like what's appropriate and what's not. Whereas back when we were kids, it was like you pick up a book and you read it.
Yeah. Well, there's like so many more middle grade quality books coming out now that like even I, you know, like obviously us as adults even enjoy reading them. So like there's so much more for kids to read now.
Yeah. I remember in high school, I got super into the Lurleen McDaniel books. Anybody in the comments, have you ever heard of these books? But they were all about like teenagers with cancer that died.
Oh, I read one of those.
They were like teen romances, and somebody was always terminally ill and died. Like, and I read all of them, and I'm like, that's like weird. Like now, as an adult, I'm like, that's really weird that this woman just wrote about all these people that died as teenagers. I was into it. I don't know. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, I do remember reading one of those, but because I saw the covers recently. When I was looking up like books from the 90s, those popped up and I'm like, oh, I recognize those covers. I know I had some of those books or saw them in the library.
I got them all from the library. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking in the comments. Somebody else said that they read. Yeah. Tiffany said that she read her first Dickens at 11. So yeah, the same thing. Like
goodness,
parents have it on the shelf. You just read it.
Yep. American Girl though, I was into Kirsten and Molly.
Oh,
Kirsten and Molly for life.
I was Molly and Samantha.
Oh, see, Samantha was fine. It was just coming onto the scene when I was into them. She was kind of new to the group.
Yeah, I had a Samantha doll, so I was definitely into Samantha.
Oh, see, I didn't have any of the dolls. I wasn't really into dolls though. But you know, it is what it is. So fun. All right. What else was I was going to ask you something else. What is a book? This is kind of a weird question, but what's a book you've read that you would also highly recommend? I feel like there's a lot of like really like what's one of your okay, let's rephrase this. In the time you've been on YouTube, what has been like one of your top reads that you have like read? Like what is your one book you would like super encourage people to pick up?
Well, it's hard because I know that some of my favorites are probably not universal. So, but I would say one, because I have some niche things, but I would say one that is universal that I read at the towards the beginning of my booktube that I would recommend to everyone is The Martian, and I know you love that too because I saw you. Yes, I loved that book.
Only read it if you can handle some language. I know there are people out there that are like hardcore on the language aspect of things. There's definitely language. Mm-hmm. It was so good. Like, I was showing my husband parts of it where he was just being a smart aleck out in space, like typing back to the people on Earth. And I'm like, his humor, Mark Watney's humor, like, we jive.
Yeah.
Jive.
I love that one. I'm trying to think of because I have my list of favorites. I would say another one that I read more recently that I love was Kindred, which is not like, and people know about Kindred, but like I had just never read Octavia Butler, and now I'm like, this book was so good.
Speaking of which, I read the graphic novel of Kindred.
Mm-hmm.
I have not actually read the book, but I did read the graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I would think the graphic novel will be harder because you could visualize. I mean, because you see all of the horrible things.
It was intense. It was very intense. And Parable of the Sower has also been adapted to graphic novel, but I haven't read it. And it's the same person that did them both. It was so good, though.
Yeah, I just don't even know if I can handle that.
Very much looking forward to Project Hail Mary. Denise asked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Project Hail Mary. I have that. I already have it like on reserve for my library, so I'll be one of the like first people that gets it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it lives up to Martian, because I know I haven't read his other book.
Artemis, isn't it Artemis or something like that?
Yeah, I haven't read that one, but I had heard mixed things about it, so I didn't.
It doesn't have very good reviews on Goodreads, and so I was like, maybe I'll skip it.
Yeah, somebody in the comments, every smiley moon, said that Kindred, the graphic novel, broke me. I just don't think I can. There's some things that I just don't want to see.
It was very intense.
Yeah.
It was very well done, though. Like, very, very well done, though.
Yeah, and I loved the book, and it's still hard content, but like, you know, in your mind, you can like tone down how you're visualizing it, and yeah.
I would say that my like book that I talk about Mr. Marsworth a ton, and like that is like my like ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
You have to physically read it. I don't even think there's an audiobook out there because it is epistolary, and in my opinion, you have to read epistolary books in physical form. Like, there's no other way to read them. But it is such a good perspective on the Vietnam War and pacifism and conscientious objectors and all of that. It's just, that book like broke me in half, and like I was sobbing hysterically like the last part of that book. It was so good. And so I know I've talked about that one a ton, but as far as like adult books go, If You Don't Know the Words is so good. Like, that is one that I think everybody needs to read because it's about apartheid, and a lot of Americans don't really know what that is. And so I was one of them. So
I should put that. I've heard a lot of people saying good things about that one. I should put on my list. You did make me read did make me buy Mr. Marsworth, so I bought that.
Yeah, you need to read. It's a quick read too. See, and Krista says is fantastic. Krista has been.
Well, I'm looking it up right now, and I'm adding it to my Goodreads.
It is If You Don't Know the Words. It is historical fiction set in the 80s during apartheid in South Africa, and it is so good. I actually buddy read that one with Krista, and then I reread it, and buddy read it with Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library. So
I've never heard anything bad about that one, so I should pick that one up. And then Mr. Marsworth, I really want to read.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would agree with your can't do audiobook of Epistolary, because I listened to, what was it? I can never say this right. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I listened to that, and the audiobook was really good because it has like each of the letters have a different voice. Mm-hmm. And I think that's how you have to do it if you're going to do epistolary, like if there's going to be multiple writers, so that like you can recognize who's writing when. Because I think that's the problem. If you're reading it, you can see who the letter's from, and like. See,
I tried listening to Guernsey, and I could not.
Oh, you couldn't?
Do it. Like, and I've tried listening to the audio for Illuminae. Everybody's like, the audio's so good, and I'm like, I couldn't get into it.
I liked the audio for that too.
Obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed with that whole series. I love it, but I am a hardcore, you have to physically read it. Like, and so many people are obsessed with the audio. but there's something about that book that's like, that book in physical is the best.
I did both. So I had read it physically, and then when I did the audiobook, I had the book so that you could, because I'm like, I still want to see all the like visual. Mm-hmm. So I did both, and I did think they did a good job of how they did the audiobook with the visual stuff, but yeah, so I liked both. So I'm okay with epistolary. I also listened to Lady Susan by Jane Austen, which is all epistolary. Okay. And I liked that audiobook, but they also had different narrators for every letter, like every letter writer.
Yeah. Hey, Rainy, thank you. Yeah, Tiffany, Guernsey it took me a while. I am not a like diehard on Guernsey. Mm-hmm. Like it was not my favorite. It was fine, but it wasn't a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I can see that. Like that's one of those that I wouldn't necessarily recommend to everyone. That's what I say. Like it's one of those that's my favorite, but I don't think it would be a favorite for everyone. Yeah, because like there was just something about the like, I don't know, almost had like a comfy read style for me. So it wasn't very action packed. It was pretty slow, but it worked for me.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of books are like that, where it's like, I know I really liked it, but even like with The Martian, the reason I loved The Martian was because the humor was like my type of humor. The sarcastic, witty, smart aleck, type of humor, that's me. And I don't know, like, if that's for everybody, sort of thing.
Yeah. And there are people that wouldn't jive with his, like, the curse, like you said, the cursing, and just also his, like, sarcasm and stuff. But I loved that humor. I was, like, invested.
Hilarious. And then I watched the movie, and I'm like, they're making this too easy on him. It's the book, it's like, it takes forever. And in the movie, it's like, dun, dun, dun. And I'm like, but no.
I didn't watch the movie. Like, I think that was one that I just didn't know if the movie would be good after reading the book, but maybe after it's been a while.
Damon is like, he's Mark Watney. He is Mark Watney, but yeah, the movie just made it seem too easy. In the book, it's definitely more of a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Kelly. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, everybody go check out Kelly on her channel. Give her some love. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me and joining me. And I am sure we will talk soon.
Yeah, congrats on your 2 years. And was it 3,000, right?
Yeah. So. Thanks. Mm-hmm. All right, we'll talk later.
All right, bye.
All right. Oh, I got to take this off. So yeah, like I said, go give Kelly a follow. And if you don't already, she's awesome. She has some really great content out there, and yeah. All right. So next we have another newcomer to the YouTube realm. She's been around for a little while, but not too long yet. And let's welcome my friend Keisha from a book like Hi, Keisha. So this is Keisha. She is a children's librarian, and so she reads lots of middle grade like I do, which that's what I love so much about her is how much middle grade she reads, because we all know that I am slightly obsessed. Just slightly. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Keisha.
Yeah, so like Amanda said, I am a children's librarian. I've been doing that for a little bit over a year, and that's kind of what took me off into the world of middle grade, I guess. I had read middle grade before, but I hadn't really gotten into it until I got that job. So I started Booktube, I think in December of 2019, and I was on Bookstagram September 2019. So I did that for a little bit, and then finally got brave enough to put my face out there on video. So I still get nervous behind the camera even after all this time, but it's fun. I can't help it. I love talking about books too much to do this.
I know, right? All right. So other than middle grade, what are your favorite types of books to read?
I've recently gotten into a lot of thrillers. My coworkers read a lot of thrillers, so that's definitely been like a book pressure thing with them reading everything. So yeah, that's probably what I read the most of other than middle grade, but I don't know. I like a little bit of everything, but I definitely gravitate towards middle grade and thrillers.
Fun. And I know you read quite a few graphic novels too, and manga and that sort of thing. That's fun. Do you have or what are you currently reading? Let's go with that.
The Invited by Jennifer McMahon. So yeah, we were talking about Jennifer McMahon a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah.
She does write it's something that I wouldn't think I would like, because I'm not super into I can do spooky. I'm like you. I can do spooky middle grade, but I can't do a lot of I don't know.
Like Stephen King.
Yeah. And so she is a little bit on a realm that I would not normally like to be in, but there is just something about the way she writes. It's very atmospheric. Writing is just so good, but it is very creepy. Like, this book is about this couple, and it's historical suspense essentially is what it is. So I like the fact that it goes back and forth. This one doesn't so much as The Winter People did, but it's there was this woman that was accused of being a witch. They hung her, and now this couple has moved to where she lived, and they're building their house out of the wood that was her house, or where she was hung. So it's a little spooky.
It's a little intense.
It's a little bit more than what I typically wouldn't pick that up, but because I like her writing, I'm trucking through it. So
Oh my goodness.
Something about it.
Fun. Okay, we have this burning question. Everybody wants to know. Where's the accent from, Keisha?
I'm from Tennessee.
I could have called that a million miles away.
It's worse too, so I'm sure it's at full capacity right now. It's fine. I knew
Where about Tennessee are you from?
West Tennessee. Actually, kind of 2 hours between Memphis is 2 hours from me, and Nashville's 2 hours from me. So I'm in that. If anybody knows where Jackson is, I'm close to Jackson. It's like that hub. So yeah.
Fun. My brother lives in Nashville. We went and visited him this past summer.
I love Nashville. And McKay's. Oh, love it. The used bookstore. Have you been there?
I have not. We went right in the heat of COVID. So we didn't really get to, everything was closed. And so it was not the best time to visit Nashville, but we just stopped in and saw my brother.
And it's amazing. So used bookstore, it's great.
Yeah, I've heard of McKay's though. I think Krista was saying that there's one in they're kind of, it's a chain, right? That's kind of in a little bit. So yeah, we don't have any of those up here in the north. In the Great White North.
Well, you need to get one up there.
Huh?
I said, y'all need to get one up there then.
We do. We have half price books, and that's about it.
We got one of those in Nashville. I haven't been yet though, so
yeah. I don't know. I'll stick with my thrifting. I like my thrifted prices. I go to half price books and I look at the price tags and I'm like, but I could get this fraction of the cost at the thrift store.
I don't have good thrift store options around me. So whenever I go or to Goodwill, they don't have a great selection of books, but they're not huge stores either. So
yeah,
it's kind of hit or miss, and most of the time they're miss.
Yeah. See, Krista, she's saying McKay's has thrifted prices. That's what I'm talking about.
They're not all bad. It depends on what you want to get. There are some books that will still be $15 to $20 if they're brand new or signed or something.
Yeah. All right, let's find us a question. Okay. I'm trying to navigate all of the things. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm it's getting late, so my brain's starting to shut down. All right, so let's go with this one. Have you always enjoyed middle grade as much as you do? So have you always known you wanted to be a children's librarian? How did this come about? Tell us about the journey to being a children's librarian.
That's a great question. I'm one of those people that it took me forever to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I started out, like I came into college and I was doing business, and then that didn't work for me. Like the math, I'm not a math whiz at all, so I could not. And then I went into Christian studies. My husband is actually a pastor, and we did a heavy amount of ministry while we were in college. And so I didn't really care to do anything else with my degree. And then after that, I was just kind of working different office jobs here or there, started working at a law firm, and got really bad mental health stuff coming from that. And so, long story short, after all of that, I like stopped working for a little while, and then I started working at my college alma mater's library. It was an academic library, and I was just doing circ stuff. So I fell in love with libraries again, and I ended up a year later having a job opening at my hometown library that I grew up going to. And so obviously I had to go back there, and I was just supposed to be a circ admin. And then literally 2 days after I got there, the girl that was the children's librarian got let go, and I got asked if I wanted to step into her position. So I was a nervous wreck, to be honest. I was like, I'm not ready for this. I'd worked at a daycare for, I guess, like 2 years, my freshman year of college. But that was the only experience I had with kids. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. It's been so long, and I don't have kids yet myself. So that's in the works, but it's not here. They're not here yet. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was a nervous wreck. But then once I got in there, I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. And it was just, I feel like, I'm not trying to sound braggy, but like I've been told, like I know I'm good at my job, I'm good at what I do, and I relate with the kids. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I relate with them better than adults sometimes.
You're where you belong. That's such a cool story. Like,
Yeah.
Simone, to like God putting you exactly where you're supposed to be at the exact right time.
Yes.
Right?
Took long enough, but glad to be here.
Hey, it's all his timing though, right? It's in his timing. Yeah. That's awesome. I know. I've always said like my dream job would be to work like in an elementary school library. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to like have that responsibility, but there's something about kids' books that just like bring me so much joy.
Yes, I've thought about working at an elementary library. I actually got my master's in library science in December. I graduated with that, but they make you do extra stuff to go into a school library, and it was going to take me longer. So I was like, I can't do that because I'd already been long. I'm 28, and I was like, I'm too far into this already.
Yeah, no, I know. And that's the thing with me. It's like, I have this much desire to go back to school. Like, none. I have my bachelor's degree, but I have no desire to like, nah. It's like, maybe I'll just volunteer at the library.
I'll say though that
that'll be close enough.
Yeah. Out of all the schooling I've done, though, my master's in library science, that was the most fun that I ever had because I got to read a lot of children's books, like the children's lit classes. Yeah. That's probably what got me back into middle grade so much.
That's so fun. Okay, so to answer this question for me, have I always enjoyed middle grade as much as I do? No. Middle grade March is fully to blame for my obsession with middle grade books. So the year before I started my channel, so 3 years ago, middle grade March, it was the second year I think that they had done it. And I just kind of jumped in and started reading a bunch of middle grade. I had been watching Krista and Kitty's YouTube channels, and I was like, sure, I can read some middle grade. And then I just never stopped. And now it's become this like full-blown obsession of mine. And it's fun because I have kids that are middle grade age. And so they will come home and be like, this is what my teachers are reading me at school. Well, before this year. And, you know, you should read this book, Mom, or I will like read a book and I'll hand it to them and be like, I want you to read this. This is really good. Or, you know, they'll just, whatever. They'll recommend books to me. I'll recommend books to them. And our tastes don't always align. They like more fantasy stuff, or like they're really into Wings of Fire right now. They were into the Aaron Hunter Warrior series, like hardcore last year. Like they were writing fan fiction. They were like making up. It was intense. And so they're more into that. And I'm more into like contemporary and historical fiction and, you know, things that are more based in reality. But but it's fun to have that like intersection where I can recommend things to them. And I just find like middle grade for me is so good for my mental health. Like, especially from a reading perspective, it like it's not as heavy. I mean, it covers heavy topics. Let's not get wrong, but it doesn't have the violence and the language and the adult topics and the like really heavy stuff like some books do, adult books do, and YA, the angst and all that's in the YA and the romance and innocent and fun, and it makes my heart happy. So yeah, I never stopped, and the covers are so dang cute. I can't find them. That's what it really comes down to, is middle grade covers are prettier.
Yeah. I've been like pushing middle grade at my library. Like we do Facebook Live staff picks every Friday, and we talk about different books. And I've started bringing in middle grade books, even though I know it's a lot of like an older audience. And I've been telling them, like, this is so good for you too. And it's not just for kids. There are things in here that will go right over kids' heads and they won't for you. And I don't know, like you were talking about Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth earlier. That was one of them that I'd recommended. And then A Place to Hang the Moon by Kate Albus. Have you read that yet?
I bought it. No, I bought it though. I own it.
It's so good.
I need to read it.
Man,
I
will.
You need to read The Length of a String. I was talking with Kelly about, like I just read that with Kelly.
Yeah.
It's a historical fiction. I have a feeling, would love that book so much. It is
The Length of a String.
So good. The Length of a String. It is about a Black girl who was adopted into a Jewish family in Baltimore. And her grandmother dies, and she finds her old journal, and it is documenting her coming to the United States from Luxembourg to escape World War II and the Nazis during World War II. And so it's like her adoptive grandmother or great grandmother. And then she's also like getting ready for her bat mitzvah and is like dealing with her identity, and she's Black, but her parents are white, and all of that. And so it was so good.
That sounds good. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, I think you would like it. But anyway, okay, Place to Hang the Moon. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that's okay. I can't remember where I was going now.
Free, yes, I did. Hardcore, yes. That's a hardcore yes on this. Yeah. Oop. Middle grade book covers have no business being as beautiful as they are. The end. Like, seriously, you can go on and on.
Why are other book covers not keeping up with middle grade level of book covers?
So I tell people, I'm like, the reason I buy so much middle grade is the covers are a bit cuter and they're cheaper. Like, in a thrift store, kids' books are way cheaper than adult books. And they're just as good to read. So why wouldn't I buy more of them? But yeah, no, I need to read A Place to Hang the Moon. I know so many people that have recommended that. So many people have recommended that. Oh man. But yeah. All right. So, and Echo is another one that would be good for adults. I feel like Echo is a good middle grade that is good for adults.
That's a longer one though, isn't it?
Very long. Listen to the audiobook.
Okay.
That's another one, like, you have to listen to. You cannot read Echo and not listen to the audiobook. It is not the same experience because it has a lot to do with music, and you hear the music. It has to do with this like magical harmonica, and you hear the harmonica music throughout, and it's so good. Oh my goodness, it's so good.
I may have to listen to it and then like read along too. Because like sometimes I have a hard time with audiobooks, just depending on what I'm doing, paying attention. So I'm doing both, and that may enhance the experience.
It is to this day one of my all-time favorite audiobooks, like of all time, like adult, middle grade, all of it. Like, so good. So yeah, all Pam. Okay, Tiffany, all Pam Munoz Ryan books. Like really. Becoming Naomi Leone. I like really, really like Esperanza Rising, Becoming Naomi Leone, and Echo are probably my top 3 Pam Munoz Ryan books. I also really, really like The Dreamer, and I really, really liked Writing Freedom. Her other 2, Manana Land and Paint the Wind, were okay for me. Not that anybody needed my whole ranking on Pam Munoz Ryan right now, but you got it anyway. Oh, man. All right. So let's see. So you said that you have been on Booktube for just over a year?
Yeah.
Is that what you
It's like
That's
been half. So
do you have any like favorite Booktube events that you participate in or that you're looking forward to or anything like that?
Obviously middle grade March. I really enjoyed participating in that. I did the reading rush last year and I really enjoyed participating in that. I'm trying to think what else there is. I know there's so many out there, but then also there's so many and I'm like, I can't keep up with all of this. So
I feel like that's the thing with Booktube is there's just so much.
yeah.
You can find anything you're looking for.
Yeah. I will say that I participate in a book club online, like here in this community that is great. Like Liv was on here earlier. I don't know if she's still on here, but Liv's Library. It's her and Kaylin Abridged and Zoe Delaney. They all have called the Homebody Book Club, and they do some middle grade in there too. They kind of do a little bit of everything, and that's been something I've really enjoyed participating in. So shameless plug there.
Yeah. Do they is it just like a live show that they do or
Yeah, they do a monthly live show.
fun?
Created they just did some rebranding. It was the Three Blondes in a Book Club before, and
Uh-huh.
so they've got like a YouTube and Instagram now. So, but it's really they do a really good job of like making everybody feel welcome and like bringing in different people in the comments and like having good conversations. So, yeah.
Very cool. Do you know what book they're reading next?
Yes,
Or what they're reading?
Mermaid Moon, but I can't remember the author. And that's the one they're doing. Well, they're doing that for this month. And then next month, I think, is Clara and the Sun, maybe.
Oh, Liv's still here. She might be able to tell us.
Yeah.
She's just coming.
Welcome, Liv.
Hi, yeah. Everybody go. Liv's here, so she can. Okay, Clara and the Sun. That's what you're reading for May. Oh, here I gotta put this.
And
here.
it's something about I think a mannequin that observes other people or something like that. And
I've never even heard of this book.
I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's Kazuo Ishiguro or something like that.
Oh yes, okay, I know which one you're talking about now. I have Never Let Me Go by him, and I still need to read it. That was like a cover buy for me from a book sale, and now I know what it is. And I was like, ooh, I should probably read that. I don't know how I'm gonna like his writing, but
I haven't read him before, so I haven't decided I'm gonna read Clara and the Sun yet, though, because this is busy season for me at the library. We're getting ready for summer reading, which all falls on my shoulders. So I'm like, I want to read that. It's on my list, but will I have time? So I don't now.
Do you have big plans for summer reading this year, like COVID and everything?
We are actually open to the public now, and so we've kind of gone a little bit more, I don't want to say relaxed, like we still try to encourage people to wear masks, but where I live, it's kind of up to the different businesses, so we encourage it, but we can't force it. And we've started doing in-person programming, I can't talk, in-person programming again, and it's been going really well. We try to but yeah, so it's a huge summer reading is like a huge program, and ours lasts for like the whole month of June. And so it's like I have programs that I do, but then we have entertainers that come in and do like we have science guys that come in and do like different chemistry experiments, and a magician, and I don't even know, I can't remember everything right now, but it's like something's going on every day of the week. And then of course, we get the kids, we give them reading logs when they register. And so every time they turn in a reading log, they'll get a prize. So we have all these fun incentives to try to encourage them to read over the summer. It's a huge thing.
I love that. Our library didn't do much last year, but I always love getting the kids involved in the summer reading programs at the library. Our library is open, like we can go in and browse, but they don't have in-person programming yet, which is kind of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. So yay, fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This is so fun. I'm so glad that you're able to stop in and join us and let us know kind of about you and your channel and all the fun things. And I know Tiffany was saying that she is a pastor's wife also. So you guys can connect that way. That's fun. Fun times. And yeah, we need to buddy read something here soon. I'm like always down for a buddy read.
I would love to.
I'm seriously, that's how it keeps me accountable to actually read things.
Yeah. Liv and I are reading the environment together right now. So
right? I'm just like, if I don't have to read it, do I have to read it? You know, but at the same time, like I also don't like having assignments. So, you know, I have to be careful how much I overextend myself with reading, because it can get to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't want to read anything because it feels like I have to read it.
Right.
And that's no fun.
Yeah. We need to compare like TBRs and see what we can read together though. So.
Oh my goodness. I'm sure we have so many things like the same. I've gotten so many like good recommendations from you, like especially graphic novels and things like that. Because yeah, I remember when you picked up Okay Witch, because I had just like never picked it up like for Halloween, I think the previous year. And you had picked it up and you're like, I love this book. And I'm like, I'm glad you loved it. It was just okay.
Because I remember you saying Bear was like, it was good, but it's just okay. And I was like, I love Bear.
And you love Bear. And I was like, meh. I think it's like a fantasy thing. I was like, I wasn't super into this, but the graphics were so good. The art in that book was so good. So, and that's just another example of like, there's a book out there for everybody, like, or there's a reader out there for every book. And just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean jack crap, because I have very weird taste. Like there are so many like super hyped books out there that I'm like, yeah, no. And then there are books that everybody's like, yeah, I did not like this. And I'm like, this is the best book ever. Oh man. Yeah, Kelly, same. She says that she loves buddy reads, but she's failed when she has too many scheduled. Same. And like even this month, I DNF buddy read sometimes too. Like if I'm not jiving with it, I will just say, you know what? I don't make myself read a book just because it's a buddy read. If it's something that I would be DNFing anyway, I'll just bail and I'll be like, I can't make myself read this. It's not for me. It's just not for me. So yeah, I'm the same way. Do you do many buddy reads?
I do like maybe one or two a month. I've just recently started doing them this year. So I try not to do overkill with it because like same with y'all, I don't want to put too much on my plate because I already have other things I need to read too. So, and then I try to participate in book club, and then I run a middle grade club at my library. Big surprise. Yeah. And have to read.
I want to run a middle grade book club for adults, but so many people do that already. So I'll let them do it.
We can participate.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness. That's fun. What's your book club reading? Anything good?
Yeah, this month, so this Friday's actually our meeting. So we're reading I, Cosmo by Carly Sorosiak. And it is, if you want something that grips your heart, it's a book about a dog.
It's a dog. I know it's a dog book. I am not a animal lover per se, so like dog books don't particularly like do it for me. Yeah. Like Oh, the dog died. That was sad. Like I'm that person with no heart.
This one's like it's from the perspective of the dog, but it's about this boy's family is fighting a lot, and so he's trying to keep them from getting a divorce essentially. So he thinks that if he enters into a dance competition, which Cosmo's a 15-year-old dog. And so they think if they enter him into this competition, it'll help his parents get along better. And so that's kind of like the base of the story. And it's just like, it just grabs my heart.
So sweet. Thank you, Amy. By the way, sorry. I just wanted to shout that out really quick. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Everybody go check out Keisha on her channel and on her Bookstagram and all the fun things, and have fun at your book club this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me and chatting and all the fun things. And I will talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Alrighty, so that was Keisha. Make sure you go check her out. She puts out really, really great content, and yeah, lots of middle grade, lots of other things too. But yeah, all right. I have one more guest that will be joining me tonight, and she is none other than my like darlingest, hyperest, most high energy person that I know. Everybody say hi to Jenny. Oh my goodness, stop it.
I thought this was a celebration. This is my celebration hat.
I cannot with you. You crack me up. Stop it. Oh my goodness. I can't.
Shh, I have to be quiet. It's like 11 o'clock here, and I'm in a hotel room. They're going to start banging on the walls like, who is in that room? And I'll just be like, subscribe. Way to have me on last, the like hyperactive one.
You are the hyperactive one. You're the freaking best. Oh my goodness. I can't watch you without cracking up laughing all the time. I love it. You're my comedic relief in my subscription feed.
I do what I can for you.
Never change. Never change who you are.
I do what I can.
So what are you doing at a casino?
So I am in Michigan. I live in Wisconsin, but we came to Michigan to go to one of my mom's favorite casinos. She's one of those people who loves to go to casinos. So she gets like free rooms and like free money to play with, and yeah, she loves the casino. So this is like our Mother's Day weekend kind of thing to celebrate that. And my aunt is here as well. I'm upstairs in the hotel room, obviously, and they're downstairs. Yeah, I'm surprised no one's like come back. I've been sitting here for almost 3 hours now, and I'm like, I can't believe they're still down there. But each their own, I guess. I put $50 in, I'm like, I'm good.
All right. I mean, I wouldn't even be doing that. I'd be like, here's $5. Have fun.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to go play the ATM. I think I can win on that one.
Right? Oh my goodness. Same. Oh my goodness. Whereabouts in Michigan are you at?
It's right over the border. I think so. The casino is Four Winds, so it's in New Buffalo.
Yeah,
that's
like
a place, right?
My hometown area. I grew up. So you're right outside of LaPorte, Indiana, and I grew up just east of that.
Nice.
Like, basically, my brother used to work at Four Winds.
Okay, it's very nice here. I mean,
yeah,
it's nice.
He worked in the kitchen there at the restaurant. So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with that area. It's
cool.
it's fairly-ish new. I mean,
it seems like it.
It's probably like
my
10 years at this point.
Yeah, my mom's been here a lot, so she was giving us she was showing us around, and this used to be a this, and this used to be a this, and over here
you're like,
this,
yeah, whatever.
We need to go over here, and I'm just like, where's the soda?
So is your mom from New Buffalo then?
No, nope. I don't know how she came across this. I have no idea. Probably in her casino circles, they probably, chat about local
Where's your mom
casinos that
from?
are awesome. Milwaukee.
Oh, stop it. You guys literally drove over to Four Winds for no reason, like other than to go to the casino.
Yeah, I live in northeastern Wisconsin, and I drove an hour down to my mom's house, and then we drove 3 hours down to Michigan to
Stop
go to a
it.
casino.
You should go to the Stray Dog while you're there.
That
It's
doesn't
a
sound healthy.
restaurant. It's like
Oh,
a
okay.
restaurant that's in the area. It's good. It's fun.
I don't know. On our drive here, we saw a lot of illicit billboards for gentlemen, and when you said that, I was like, oh, that doesn't sound like a place I want to go.
It's just a bar and grill. It's right on the lake, right by the beach. You
Sure
walk over
it
to
is.
the beach.
But congratulations, 3,002 years.
Goodness.
That's awesome.
Thanks, girlfriend. You're the best.
do
I know. As soon as I knew I was going to be doing this, I was like, I got to get Danny up in here. My hype girl. Like, you're the freaking best. What are you reading right now? Are you doing big, complicated reading? You read a lot of complicated stuff.
I do. And those are usually my favorites. So right now I'm reading East of Eden. I'm also reading Kindred, but on audio. I'm reading Once Upon a River, which is that Diane Setterfield, which is really good. Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe, which is really good. I am also reading. What's that?
I said, how many books do you read at a time?
All of them.
Oh.
So usually my TBR is about 10 to 15 books per month. And I read them all at the same time. Yeah. I very rarely read one book at a time. I'm usually like in between 4. So I'm usually cycling through 4 at a time. So yesterday during Dewey's, which I didn't really vlog or anything for Dewey's, but I finished The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. I don't know. And then I also finished Jasmine something. It's one of the Pink Carnation books that I'm reading with Laura. And yeah, and then I'm reading all the Booktube prize books that are in my group this month. So I'm reading a little bit of everything. Oh, and I'm going to finish Ashes of London on my audio. So that should be good. Oh my goodness. Too. I have 20 minutes left,
and you read everything too, like genre-wise. You read all the things.
Yeah. The only genres I really
were you a lit major in college?
Yes. So I have a bachelor's and a master's in English. So my bachelor's is in English and journalism, and then my master's is in humanities with an emphasis in English. So I read a lot.
So what do people do with degrees like that?
Nothing. We create Booktube channels and we talk about books.
Oh my goodness, stop it.
The intention is always something grander. So I think, so I wanted to teach when I was going for my bachelor's, and then 10 years later when I got my master's, I was like, yes, I'm really going to do it this time. And I graduated with that in 2019. And I keep looking at people of that age group and I go, no, I'd rather do it on Booktube. So that's why I'm here.
Oh my goodness. Well, I asked that because a lot of times people be like, yeah, I have a degree in this like obscure thing. And I'm like, okay, but what do you do with that? Like, what is the applicable use of that?
It's actually a
curiosity.
Yeah. Well, you have to understand too, a lot of the time. So not to get all, weird and like historical on you, but
yeah,
in the olden days, you used to go to college just to learn. It didn't have anything to do with an occupation. Going to school didn't mean anything about occupations. That is a modernist view of university. Now, anyone who goes to school, it is for an occupation. So it is. That's the age-old question. Well, what do you do with that? And it's like, no, I went to learn. I went to learn those things. But because occupation has become so tied to your monetary value, education went along with that. So that's why, yeah. So a lot of the times, any education anybody has can be useful. It's transferable in any field. I work in employment. I help people find jobs. And my favorite thing is when I get a new grad who comes to me and says, I want, $20 to $30 an hour because I have an education. And I go, that's great. But what you really need is you need some experience. And you don't have that. So I can get you in at like $15 or $16 an hour and you can
build your way up from there.
So it sucks. It stinks because that's the thing. Well, I went to college so I could have a better, wage, and it's on that. But you have someone coming in with 20 years of experience doing that same thing, and you have none. It outweighs. But we're getting off topic. But yeah.
No, I find this very interesting.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
This is why I enjoy talking to you, because you educate me on all the things. School me, Danny. School me.
I know. I went to school so I can know all the things. That's basically, no, I'm just kidding. No,
our pastor last week at church, he got reading a passage that had a bunch of names in it, and he's like, I can say those names. That is the result of X amount of years of seminary school, and that's why I'm up here. You're not. This is what I got from my degree. I can pronounce these names, and you can't. I'm like, touché.
Yeah. But any level of education, I think what people forget is, when you go to school, you're putting forth effort into organization, multitasking. You're being reliability is there. I mean, so there's a lot of transferable skills regardless of what you went for. So yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, I do have. Danny asked me some questions, so I figured we could answer them together.
I asked you these questions?
You asked me these questions. So I
don't even remember this. When did this
answer
happen?
them together. It was a while ago. I mean, let's be fair here. It was a while ago. So,
I'm glad I participated.
Huh?
I said, I'm glad I participated.
You did. You participated, and I appreciated that. So what is your favorite place to travel? I actually don't travel very often. I mean, I have more in the past couple of years than I really did. I traveled in college twice. I went to Germany and visited Germany with my parents hosted exchange students for years, when I was in high school and beyond. And so they had an exchange student from Germany. And so I went and visited her my senior year of college for spring break. And her mom just gave me a full-on tour of Germany and took me to all the places, and we saw all the things, and it was fantastic. And then I also in college spent a month in Cuernavaca, Mexico. Mexico, in central Mexico. And that was loads of fun. And it was like a part of my Spanish class. I have a minor in Spanish, and I cannot speak any Spanish now. But once upon a time, I took 8 years of it in school. It was part of my Spanish and sociology class. And so we visited lots of different places in Mexico too. So that's really it. And then I've been to the Appalachian Mountains, and our family went to Florida this year. We went to Disney for the first time. That was fun. So yeah, I mean, I have done a lot of traveling within the United States. My family growing up, we were broke and did not have lots of money. And my uncle was in the military. And so our vacations consisted of road trips to visit wherever he was stationed at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we did lots of road trips across the entire country. And my parents would just buy a national park pass and we would stop at all the national parks. So I've been to lots of states and almost every national park, except in the Northeast. So, yeah.
That's awesome, though. I think people forget about all of the travel they can do in their backyards. There's so many places you probably haven't visited in your own town, or your own like next door, like big city, any of that kind of stuff. Prior to getting onto Booktube, I did a lot of, I was watching a lot of travel vloggers, and that's a lot of what they were saying too, is like the amount of space in our own country we have yet to see, places that we don't travel to. And it's similar when you go overseas, because like, for instance, I have been overseas to the UK twice now, twice to London and then once to the rest of the country. Because kind of similar to you with the military. So when we were kids, my dad was in the military, so we did live in different states, and I don't really consider that travel. It's more of like living.
Right.
But then my brothers are in the military, so I have traveled to visit them. Rick is in London right now, so I visited him twice. My other brother's in Germany, and we were supposed to visit them this past year, but we couldn't do that.
Lame.
You know, when you go there, when I was talking to some of his friends in London, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how many times have you been to the museum? I mean, I can't believe they're free. And they're like, we've never been to the museum. And we're like, first of all, it's within walking distance. It's literally right there, and it's free to get in. I live 3.5 hours away from the Shed Aquarium. It costs $85 a person to get in, and I've been there 3 times. You know, like it's so crazy. But yeah, I mean, as far as my favorite place to travel, in 2019, my then boyfriend, who then we got engaged there, not in that trip, and now we're married. But long story short, so we went and visited Scotland. It's literally an amazing country, amazing people. The Highlands are just everything you read.
Really, really high on my husband's bucket list.
That is the Highlands. Yeah, they're just, Edinburgh is just an amazing city. I wish we were there longer. My husband wants to go back. So if he wants to go back to a dreary country where you hardly see the sun, I'm all for it. It's like, please, let's go. Like, take me to the beach and let me lay there. So the fact that he wants to go back is something. So I would say, like, I like the UK. I would like to go to Germany. I think that would be fantastic.
Where is your brother stationed there?
So he's in Bavaria, in the Bavaria region. I think it's something with an R, like Rhine. I can't think of the name of it's one of the stations there, but they'll be there for a couple of years yet. And then they'll come back. But yeah, so I would say I really love the UK. I want to go back. And it's so silly because it's like there's so many other countries I could visit, you know, if I was going to visit again. You know, why do you keep going back to the same one? And it's just because it's comfort. It's just, and there's so much that you leave untouched.
Much more you can get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I love that. Is there anywhere within the States that you would like to visit that you haven't been to?
So I have been to Florida. You know, we did not grow up with money either, so we did a lot of road trips. So we've been to South Dakota several times, Badlands, all that. I helped a friend move once, and we did a road trip from Wisconsin to Las Vegas. But I was just there, helped them move, and like the next morning I was on a flight back to Wisconsin. So not that I want to see Vegas, but going west, the lands And I mean, going through Colorado, I was like, what is
Is even
this?
on.
Like, this is incredible. We were going through the mountains and we're just like, where am I? So I would love to go back out west and just, you know, appreciate the landscape and the nature and, you know, just see a different mode of life. I'd love to go to Hawaii, and not so much like, I mean, everybody wants to go to Hawaii, but I think I personally, like, this is gonna sound so dumb, but I want to see the Pearl Harbor Museum and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
that's the stuff that I want to see. I want to see the
I want to see the
Jurassic.
volcanoes.
Yes.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
It's like I don't care about the beaches. I want to see the volcanoes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we did our road trips growing up, the biggest one we did, we lived in North Carolina at the time, and we went from North Carolina to Salt Lake City and back. And so we did like all through the northern part of the states and then all through the southern part of the states. So we did like Yellowstone and all that, and through Colorado and whatnot, and Death Valley and, you know, all those things. And then we went all through like the southern part of the states, and it's gorgeous. It's so different than,
Yeah.
you know, you're in the Midwest or everything.
Yeah. When you have to drive through like Indiana or Iowa and you're just like,
Goodness.
how long is this going to take? Because the road looks exactly the same.
The same
entire
forever and
way
ever
through.
and ever. Oh
You're
my
like,
goodness.
is that the
It's
same
funny.
cow
Our little neighbor girl, she's like, I want to go to Indiana because that's where you guys are from, and that's where I want to go on my next vacation. And I'm like, I don't know what you're gonna go see in Indiana, but have fun. There is not much there unless you're going to the Indy or something, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Yes. So to answer Debbie's question, yes, I have been to Wall Drug. I have many a
I've been to Wall
picture at
Drug.
Wall Drug on like the horse and the free water. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely. If you want to see a really cute vlog on Wall Drug, if you follow Kate, or not Kate, I always say that, it's Kara and Nate on YouTube. They're huge travel vloggers. I've been watching them since they were like I think they were at like 200,000 subscribers, and now they're at like over 2 million subscribers. They're amazing. But they just did stayed 24 hours at Wall Drug, and it's really cute because they like go and they see everything and eat there, and it's really cute. It's nice. So if you like that kind of stuff, Kara and Nate. So
we did Wall Drug. We did the Corn Palace.
Yes, and Mitchell. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. We did that. Good times out west, man.
Yeah. See, I think the Corn Palace too, like the best thing about the Corn Palace is like the front of the Corn Palace. And then you get inside and you're like, so that was it, huh?
Okay. Well, when we went, I don't know if it's still this way. When we went, it's like an old middle school. And it's like you go into the auditorium, and it's like the walls are just like big murals of corn. And
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
we
fun
took a
times,
detour
fun
for this.
Huh? Yeah.
I said, we took a detour for this.
Oh my goodness, I can't. Oh, fun. I know. It's like my husband and my parents take our kids for a week every summer, like all the kids. And so we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. Last summer we went to the Smoky Mountains. And so this summer we're like, okay, what do we do? Because we're not just going to hang out at home for a week. Like, we need to figure out something to do. So if you guys have any suggestions, we're pretty much game for anything. Huh?
Oh, you said I thought maybe, have you been out east, but you said you lived in North Carolina, right?
We lived in, well, and these are our stipulations. It's in the summer, and so we don't necessarily want to go south because we live in the north for a reason. We'll just say that. we are not fans of the heat. Virginia is nice. Yeah, Krista.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was
Anyway,
gonna say Virginia Beach would be a nice place to go. we used to live there. I used to live in Newport News, and it's like real close to Hampton and Virginia
Well, and
Beach.
it's like we don't want to go anywhere that's going to be too busy. We want to go somewhere that it's not like super, like we obviously want to stay COVID safe, but we also want to be able to like go places and have fun. And so it's like we're trying to like balance all this stuff out. And so, yeah. Boston, we actually seriously considered Boston, but my husband really wants to go see a game at Fenway. And the Red Sox are not at home the week that we are going to be able to go. And so we're going to save that trip for a year that they're home when we can go, so he can go see his ball game. So we'll see. But yeah, so I don't know yet. We're throwing ideas around. We just haven't gotten anything that we are super excited about yet. All right, last question that came from Danny. What plans do you have for your channel? So, and I won't necessarily make you answer this too in depth, but I don't know. I don't really know. I haven't put too much thought into like what my plans are. I do Historathon with Angie, and we're going to keep going with that. And I've started doing middle grade March with Kristen Katie, and I really enjoy doing that. And so outside of that, like I enjoy doing, just kind of, this is what I'm reading each month and letting you know when I have good books that I've come across. Sharing my thrifted, like Danny's my thrifted, like kindred spirit. We love our thrifted books, and we love a good deal on books. And so finding thrifted books, doing the thrift with me's, I really enjoy doing those. Although I end up with way too many books. Like if you guys saw the pile of books I have right now to haul, that doesn't even include what I did in my thrift with me that I did this past week.
That was really fun, by the way.
I have a problem. I get stressed out and I'm like, I need to go to Goodwill, and then I come home with 10 books.
Yeah.
It's a
Jonathan
problem.
was so cute behind you, reading his little Paw Patrol. And I'm like, he's like not even listening to her at this point. He's just like, Mom, I'm looking for Paw Patrol right now.
He was doing his finding books.
Yeah.
He was so excited that we could find finding books. This is what he calls them. His little look and find books. He loves those things. He's a trip, that kid.
It was funny because you had done that thrift and you found some Paw Patrol book, or not Paw Patrol. Was it TJ Maxx? Yeah. And then Krista on her channel, she was doing the little free libraries, and she found for her nanny kids the PJ Masks book, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute.
It's a crossover.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I don't know, like that's kind of, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. It's working for right now, especially, with having my kids home right now. I will say, like, this past year has been a season as far as like filming and things. There was one video that I kept like repeating over and over again, like, I'm sorry for my kids. I'm sorry for my kids. I'm sorry. They don't know how to stop slamming doors. And then somebody's like, I can't even hear them.
Yeah, we really can't. I remember that video. So I was like,
for me, when I'm filming, it's like the door's like slam, 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 slam. And I'm like, would you just stop? I need 10 minutes, people. And so it's like, it is what it is. But it's been a very trying time as far as like filming and like having time that I can film without interruption, and like the amount of times I have to edit out like me taking deep breaths because I'm stressed out because of the interruptions. It's like, that's reality. Like that's the reality of behind the scenes, guys. It's like, it's been a year. So once the kids are back in school, I might have more creative flow, right?
Yeah, it's hard when everyone's home and you're trying to film, because for me, like, this is my perception. Everyone is standing right outside the door, like listening to me and like laughing at me. And so I'm constantly like editing out like where I'm kind of like pausing for a second and like listening. And then, of course, you have Dwight and Kingston, who are right outside the door. So they're the ones that are, and they're like, they're doing the sniffing out kind of thing. Like, I think she's in there, and they're like blowing their sniff. You know how dogs do. And then I have to pause and go away, Dwight. So I have to edit that out of my video.
The amount of times, like, I have counted before in my videos, the amount of times I scream at my kids, stop it! Like, screaming, because I'm, like, upstairs filming, and they're downstairs, like, screaming at each other, and I'm like, I need you to be quiet! Like, yelling at them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes. My husband has a habit of, like, coming into my room. Like, I call it my room, but it's our guest room, and then it's where all my books are.
Books are at.
Like, he'll like slowly start opening the door to like see if I'm filming. So while he's doing that, I can hear that he's entering. So then I like stop talking. So then he thinks that means that I'm not filming, and he like enters the room, and he's like coming to give me like a drink or something, and I'm just like, thanks, hon, I'm filming right now. And he's like, oh, okay. So then I have to edit that out. Oh my gosh, like I'm just, can I have 5 minutes? Seriously, I just need 5 minutes. That's
like, I just need 10 minutes. Film this wrap up.
I'm like trying to get it all out.
Oh my goodness, I know. And I'm just like, anyway.
Yeah.
It's, it'll be fine. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. I keep telling myself it's just for a season. It's just for a season. Yeah. You shall pass. Just a few more months, and then they will go back to school, and I will have some downtime. And I think that was like the hard transition with going to having them home full time, is that I was used to having that downtime. And then all of a sudden I don't have it. And it's not that I mind them being there. It's just like I was used to having a time slot where I could do things like this. And now it's like, when am I supposed to get this stuff done? So, yeah. But yeah. So I don't know. So I don't know what my plans are. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm continuing to do the plan with me's, and do those. Those have been a lot of fun. It's been a really great creative outlet for me to have my book journal, to just be able to like have a physical like thing that I can look back on to track my reading, because I do Goodreads like religiously. Like when I start, I'm in Goodreads marking that I started a book, and like I'm really good at doing that. But my book journal is like I fill it out at the end of every month. I like go in and I fill everything out. So yeah, but I enjoy all the creative aspects of it. So
yeah, I love your plan with me's. I mean, that's why I think I started doing my own, because I loved having the thought, and I'm actually terrible at Goodreads. So for me, it was like, I need somewhere to write this stuff down, because I'll like forget, what did I read earlier this month? And it'll just be gone, because I read so much. So
well, yeah, when you're reading 10 books at a time.
I know. I need a place, but I don't know. For my channel, I think I'm starting to ramp up. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I don't want to put anything out there right now, because it's coming down the road, but I think people are going to see a lot more of me in the next couple months, and then maybe for a while there. So I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I think for me, because I have the background in it, I have so many different roads I can travel down. And there's a lot of roads that I feel like I haven't yet even started on, because I want to do more reviews. It's funny, when I talk to Laura, my bestie on Booktube, who lives in Wisconsin as well, I say, it's funny, Booktube doesn't have a lot of books in it. Like we do talk about books, but not at length. We very rarely have full reviews where we do wrap ups, we do tags, and we do all these very short things, and they're fun. Don't get me wrong. They're super fun, but I also want to do more book stuff, like talk about books. So I think for me, it's gonna get a lot more Danny on there. So
See, and I'm the type of person, like, I don't have the, I don't know, the focus maybe to analyze a book in order to like properly review it. Now, if I don't like a book, I can tell you every which way I do not like this book, all the reasons why. But if I like a book, I'm like, it was really good. You should read it. And that's the extent of my review. Like, I don't know. I guess I need to get better about like critically like praising a book. I don't know if that makes sense.
You know, and I don't think so. I mean, I think you do a great job of talking about books. I mean, you've been one of the first booktubers that I watched, and I think you do a great job. And I think that's the point of booktube, is to have different perspectives from people in different walks of life. So different ways in which, you know, me being, okay, so I have an education that goes with it, but my thought process on a book, like we see it, like I think I mentioned East of Eden. We had a bunch of people who were like, I loved East of Eden. And then you have people that no. So you need that different, you need people from different areas of life, different perspectives, different education levels, because that's the audience. So we can't all say we're going to talk about books, you know, up in this echelon of, I know what a literary device is. And believe me, I don't. You can get very far in education and still not know what, you know, a hyperbole is. Okay, it's possible.
You read Hate That Cat. It'll teach you all the things.
You don't have to know all of those things to talk about books, to, you know, share your enjoyment of a book, because not everyone wants to know those things. Some of us want to just say, please just tell me, did you like it? Was it nice? Can I read it? And that's awesome.
Yeah. And I feel like that's how, and I feel like I'm getting away from doing tags because I don't like this. I enjoy watching tags occasionally, but like I have found anymore that when I watch BookTube, I'm looking for book recommendations. Like I'm looking for either book recommendations or like your in-depth thoughts on a book. And I don't feel like book tags do that unless it's just something fun, like, you know, and I've done my favorite tags and I enjoy doing some tags, but I've definitely gotten away from doing, like, I don't remember the last time I actually did one, because for me, I would rather do something that it's like, here are my book, like, here are some recommendations for you, not just a book with a green cover or a book that has this many words in the title or a book that, you know, whatever. So I've definitely, I felt myself getting away from that and trying to do more things that have more, this, I don't want this to sound like snotty, but things that have more substance to it and more like, you know, like I did the audio, like talking about audiobooks and like, this is how and why I listen to audiobooks, or these are the, you know, my middle grade recommendations, or, you know, whatever. And, or talking about books that my kids have been reading, because I feel like there's value in other people seeing like, this is what kids this age are into right now, you know, things like that.
Yeah. I have a hard time doing tags because sometimes I feel like they're redundant. And then, but I really want to do them because I feel so honored that someone would tag me. And I also know that, especially for like an original creator, I know they put a lot of effort into that. So I feel like I should do them, but at the same time, they're not my favorite thing to do. But then I'm like, but please continue to tag me.
Yeah.
So, but some of them are really great, and some of them are, you know,
and
kind of like
watching the ones that I can tell have more, like I said, more substance to it. Like you're gonna actually talk about why you feel this way about a book instead of just like checking off the boxes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely feel that too, for sure. But I don't know. I don't really know quite exactly what I want to do going forward. But I kind of like where I'm at now. There are definitely months, like I feel like at the beginning, like January, February, March, I was like January was doing all my like end of 2020 wrap up, like and goals for the year, and like all this stuff, like all goes into January. And then February I did Historathon, and then March I did middle grade March, and now I'm like, and now what am I like? I don't have any videos now because I don't have any. Like, I don't know what to do. What did I do before all of this stuff? And so I don't know. I'm trying to come up with some ideas, but my creative juices are pretty tapped out at this point.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I'm trying to give myself the space to be able to have those like downtimes too.
Yeah. Well, I think I should let you guys go. My mom and aunt are back in the room and they're starting to have a conversation over here, so I don't want
it
to
time. So thank you so much
there.
for joining us, Danny. Everybody go check out Danny as Spinelli Speaks. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Enjoy your time with your mom.
Sounds good.
Bye. All right, guys. Well, like I said, I just wanted to bring all those girls on and introduce you. Hopefully you were able to find somebody new to follow, all that stuff. Go follow every single one of these girls. Beautiful Minutia and Cozy Reader Kelly, A Book Like You, and Spinelli Speaks are the channel names. So yeah, and yeah. Danny is the best. She is hilarious. She is my, like I said, she is my comedic relief for sure. She's such a trip. So, yeah. See, even Keisha was saying, like, creative juices are just tapped out. And I think it's just that time of year too. Like, honestly, where like I'm coming down off of like the middle grade March, like high, and just kind of trying to figure out like what to do next. And just trying to kind of, I'm not quite posting as much as I was before, but that's okay. And I'm trying to give myself the space to just kind of take some time as I need it and go from there. But I do have some stuff coming out this week. So this week coming out should be my May plan with me and my May TBR. That's something new that I've been doing this year, is doing monthly TBRs. I've never done that before. So that should be coming out this week. And then I have another book haul because I can't stop buying books. You guys, it's a problem. It's a problem. But yeah. All right. So I think that is going to do it for tonight, guys. I appreciate so much you guys being here tonight and just subscribing and being part of this journey for me. It has been so much fun. Like, I feel like I have found my people. I've made some fantastic friends through this experience of just being on Booktube, and it's been a ride, and it's just been fun, and I'm very, very excited to see where it goes from here. And I'm so happy that each and every one of you are here, and I appreciate you so much. And yeah, so I think that is going to do it for tonight. So yeah, thanks again for being here. And you guys can always connect with me on Instagram and Goodreads. Like I said, I'm trying really hard to actually write reviews on Goodreads this year. That's my goal, is to actually write reviews for all my books. Not quite all the way caught up, but we're doing it, But I am pretty good about tracking what I'm reading over there. I have a Bookstagram. I don't post very often, but I lurk pretty well on Instagram. I'm definitely more of an Instagram lurker, but I do have an account as well. So yeah, hopefully you were able to get some good book recommendations tonight as well. And yeah, so that's going to do it for tonight. But like I said, thank you so much for being here and celebrating with me and supporting me and all the things. And I hope that you guys have an amazing night, an amazing week. I hope this was nice and relaxing for you guys, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.